My inventory is a bit full, but I'll play something. So I can talk a lot. I'll mute.
That's blood. And that's blood. Whose blood do you think that is?
No idea.
But we have a witness that says you
Okay. Good for you. You've got it all wrapped up. Why do you keep going on?
Meet 79-year-old Andrew Watson, the most ruthless, cockiest, and not to mention oldest killer this detective has ever interrogated. Because even in the face of all the evidence in the world, Andrew is convinced he's going home today.
Logically, when we look at it, yeah, she's dead. And we believe that somebody's responsible.
Me.
On November 13th, 2014, 74-year-old Lise Fredette didn't show up for work at her job as the jewelry section manager of a Walmart in Peterborough, Canada. A reliable hard worker for her entire life, her sudden no-call, no-show struck her entire team as odd. When her children and grandchildren were unable to reach her, one of her kids raced to her home to discover a shocking crime scene. Lisa's glasses and earrings were strewn across her driveway, and visible bloodstains marred the concrete and her vehicle. While she had made it home from work on the 12th, she never made it inside. It was clear that she had been ambushed in the driveway. And all police had to do to find their first suspect was to look at her previous contact with law enforcement. Because just weeks prior, she had reported that an ex-boyfriend, 79-year-old Andrew Watson, was stalking her and leaving harassing letters at her home. Very quickly, detectives were able to obtain a search warrant and bring Andrew in for questioning.
Have a seat in there and put your shoes on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Here we go. Oh, you do have socks on under that. Good.
Yeah. Am I going to be able to keep these shoes?
Oh yeah, they're gonna go with you. They'll follow you. Like, you're in here with me for a bit. We've got some things to talk about, so you put your shoes on, get comfortable. Probably keep your feet warmer.
I can't go over that cell.
What's that?
I can't go over those cells.
No,
Can you believe it?
they're not.
I cannot believe it. I'm telling you. Oh,
There's your food.
thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. There's You said cream with your coffee.
Yeah.
You can add it. I didn't know if you wanted one or two. Help yourself. Couple of housekeeping details. You eat, do your thing, okay? There's a couple of things I want to explain to you so you understand. Everything you and I do, everything we say in this room, back in this cell block area, is all recorded. Okay?
You mean there's a tape recorder somewhere?
The knowledge that there is a tape recorder in the room doesn't stop Andrew from checking off a loathsome list of straight-up stomach-churning behavior, like smacking his gums, talking with his mouth open, and, oh yes, manipulating and lying through his dentures. But there's also this tidbit, the very first concern he voices to detectives. And it isn't about the dead ex-girlfriend that he supposedly loved so dearly.
Well, as you and I go through this process, Andy, there's no doubt you're going to have some questions for me. You feel free to ask me anything you want. Okay, if I can answer it, I will. And if I can't, I'll explain to you why. Okay?
Okay, can we start with this?
Sure.
It's my understanding that the police are legally obliged to give me a list of the stuff that they take from my home and from my car. And I have asked several policemen for this list, and none of them will give me a list.
So you want to know specifically what was taken
I
from your
want to
home?
know exactly what they took from my home and what they took from my car.
Okay. Well, you don't even have,
Maybe I'm wrong.
you don't even have your car back yet, do you?
No.
No. Okay.
So maybe you can explain to me how it takes over a week to search a little car.
Well, yeah, you know what? And I when you're done eating, and I'll let you finish, I will definitely answer that question for you. No issue. I got no problem answering that for you.
And the house and the car were being searched.
Yep.
When the search warrants had expired.
No, they hadn't, Andy.
Anyway.
No, and I'm not arguing with you.
Argue with it, because I really don't.
But I can show you how come they're not expired. I don't mind explaining that to you, because that's a logical question that people sometimes confuse.
It's not important to me. I don't care how long they stay there.
No. But I just want you to understand that the search warrants hadn't expired.
Okay.
What happens with a search warrant, so you understand, is that, and I have a copy of them here that I can show you, because that would probably familiarize yourself with them. But see, what happens with a search warrant is there's a date and a time put on it, okay? But the date and the time is what we call the execution date and time, which means that the reader, the judge or justice, has authorized the police, yep, you can go search that car, or yes, you can go search that house. You have to execute that warrant on this date between these time frames. So maybe it would be like the 14th of November between 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock at night. That's when you have to execute this warrant. Once the police have executed that warrant within that time frame, there is no time limit at that point in time. Like, they don't have to be out by 8 o'clock at night. It just means they have to have executed that warrant to show the judge or justice that, yeah, we've entered the premise and we've executed it at that time.
It's not important to me, really.
Okay, well, you brought it up. It's a good question.
The list is important.
I'll get you a list.
It is a fact that they're supposed to give me a list. Maybe they're not. Maybe I just heard wrong.
I don't have a problem getting you a list of what was taken. It's not a secret. It's your house.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things you probably noticed are missing. Maybe others you didn't, but I don't have a problem with it. At the end of the day, it's your material, it's your information. You have a right to know what it is.
I was going to give you a friendly word of advice.
What's that?
If you're ever going to go to a house to ask somebody to speak to you so you can ask them questions,
Yeah.
don't do it after they've been searched. Because that person will be so pissed off, they will not talk to you, no matter what.
Well, you want to know something, Andy? I couldn't agree with you more. That's why we're here now and Peterborough's out.
You should see the mess in my house.
Did they not leave it in good shape?
Stuff broken, stuff damaged, stuff scattered all over the place.
Okay.
And
I agree with you, Andy. I talk to people all the time, and you know what? Yeah, like if I go to anybody and say, here's a search warrant, I'm going to search your car, and I do that, and then the next day I show up saying, hey, would you like to come in and talk to me? You're probably going to be annoyed with me. You're not going to be a happy guy.
depends the condition you left my car or my house in.
Well, you don't have your car back, but you do have your house, and obviously you're saying your house wasn't left in great shape.
My house is a disgrace.
Okay.
Not just bad shape, it's a disgrace.
I have an unfriendly word of advice for Andrew, but we're trying not to get demonetized, so I'll let you come up with your own. Andrew's complaints don't stop there, nor does his attitude of being innocent and above the law. But if he knew what cops found inside his car, I doubt he'd be asking for a list.
I don't even know why they arrested me.
I'm going to explain all that to you. You'll know clearly.
Because I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You could let me stay at home where at least I'd be comfortable and I wouldn't be causing you any trouble or expense. And any time you want me, you just come and get me. I'd be right there sitting with you.
Right, but that's what happened today. They came and got you. Right? You understand that you're under arrest. Okay. What did the officers tell you that you're under arrest for when they went and arrested you today?
Murder in the first degree and criminal harassment.
Okay, exactly. And that's my understanding too, right? So you know that you're under arrest for murder in the first degree and criminal harassment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking right now about the disappearance and murder of Lise for dead.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't need you to say anything other than just, it's been explained to you that she's the person who's missing. You're aware of this through the course of this investigation. Okay. Now, you want to, these are serious allegations because the allegations are murder in the first degree. Okay. So, other than treason to the Queen, it doesn't get much higher than that in the criminal code when we talk about offenses against another person. Okay. That's an arrestable offense. And we as officers have an obligation when it comes to certain types of offenses, okay, where we don't have discretion to just leave somebody at home, come and deal with them when we need to. How long were you and Lise together overall?
From the fall of 2011 until the 20th of April to 2014.
So from the fall of 2011 till April the 20th, you said, 2014? So 3-ish years?
The reason I'm so sure about the date we split up was it's my birthday.
The 20th of April?
Yeah.
And that's the breakup day?
Yeah.
That's not fun.
You know why we broke up?
No.
Because I was wearing jeans.
You broke up because you were wearing jeans?
Yeah.
You got to explain that one to me.
Well, I was to go to her place. We were going to go out for supper with our family.
Right.
And when I went, I was wearing jeans. And she said she didn't want me to wear jeans, she wanted me to wear pants. And this, I couldn't understand this, because she always wanted me to be dressed up like a tailor's dummy, the suit, the dress shirt, and the tie, and just like you, exactly like you. That's
You calling me a tailor's dummy? It's okay.
But anyway, what got me was that when we went out with the family never wore any suits or ties or shirts or anything else. The family all wore standard Peterborough dress, which is t-shirts and jeans.
Right.
So I had these jeans on, and they were perfectly nice jeans. They weren't scruffy, ragged, and they were almost new.
Yeah.
Perfect condition. And I had a brand new t-shirt on, perfect condition, perfectly clean. And so I thought I was presentable, and I thought I was dressed as well as her son and her son-in-law and her grandkids, because they were all in jeans and t-shirts. So I didn't think it was a problem, but she got real mad about that.
And that's why you broke up? Where did you go that day?
I went home.
No, but like you said, everybody else was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. You were wearing jeans and a t-shirt. So where did everybody go? Like, was it a party for you? Because it's your birthday.
It wasn't just my birthday.
Oh, okay.
I think it was her son's birthday. I'm not sure, but it wasn't just for me.
Right.
No.
Andrew saying that Lise broke up with him over him wearing jeans is like when a cheater says they got dumped because their partner went through their phone. According to Lise's family and friends, Andrew was incredibly possessive and controlling of Lise. When she didn't do what he wanted, he would give her the silent treatment and often break up with her as a means of controlling the situation and manipulating her. However, in April of 2014, his standard method of abandoning and dumping Lise, then asking her to take him back, didn't work. From there, the loss of control drove Andrew to do some truly heinous things.
The thing is, every 3 or 4 weeks, Lise seemed to have some sort of compulsion to have a fight. Now, we had no serious problems to have a fight about. She was comfortably off, I'm comfortably off. She owned her own home, all paid for. I owned my own home, all paid for. She owned her car, paid for. I owned my car, paid for. No religious problems. She wasn't religious, I wasn't religious. No political problems. She wasn't a political person, I'm not a political person. No family problems, because I have no family at all. So she didn't have to worry about me paying alimony or child support or anything else like that.
Right.
I had absolutely no family problems. And her family seemed to like me, and I certainly got on well with all her family. We didn't have any problems at all with her family. So we'd no family problems.
Right.
So as far as I was concerned, there was not a serious problem between us at all. Because of this, and this compulsion to fight, she would have to dream up the most stupid, trivial junk you can imagine to have a fight. Now, in the early days when she started this, I would argue with her. But very soon realised that it was a waste of time arguing with her because she just would not listen.
Right.
So what I did was, when I saw this fight coming, and I could see it coming, after I'd been with her so long, I could see this coming. I knew it was coming.
Right.
So what I did, I would just go home.
Okay.
And I don't think she liked that, because then she'd nobody to fight with. Anyway, I used to just leave the house and go home. So, you wouldn't believe these things you start fighting about. You would not believe it. Anyway, this day I'm talking about, 20th of April, she was annoyed because I was wearing jeans. So I saw it coming, and I just got up and I left. And I was getting in my car, and I had my bum on the seat and my right foot on the floor, but my left foot was still outside the car. And she came out storming out after me, and she grabbed the car door and started banging the car door to try and break my leg between the car frame and the door.
Yeah.
So anyway, eventually I was able to keep the door from banging my leg, and I told her just to go in and leave me alone, and she went inside and I went home. And that is why we broke up, because
was the end.
I was wearing jeans. Terrible temper,
Yeah.
and always violence with the temper. You know, I got
Did you
out-
say violence with the temper?
Yeah,
Okay.
it got out of hand.
What would she do?
Oh, well, I tried to break my leg with the car door.
Yeah.
She seemed to lose it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
For example, if it was me, I would say to myself, do I want to throw this carton of milk at her and have milk all over the bloody place that I'm going to have to clean up? I don't think so. She didn't think like that.
Right.
She would just let fly. She didn't give a shit.
The poor innocent grandpa attacked by his girlfriend, and he's so above fighting that he didn't even lay a hand on her. So he says, at least. But according to Lisa's family, Lise had never laid a hand on anyone, let alone a partner. She wasn't the type to get violent, in spite of what Grandpa Andy is going to continue to say. And while Lisa's family can't say she's violent, Andrew's family isn't there to defend him. At least, his brother isn't. Because strangely, his brother Frank mysteriously vanished in 1967, after which Andrew hastily moved to Canada from Scotland. Surely that's a coincidence though, right?
And whenever the fights would happen and you would leave, who would make up?
That was a problem.
Was it?
That's why she went to these other guys.
Tell me about that. Why'd she go to these other guys?
You need to ask her that, but here's a woman who told me she loved me. I was the greatest thing in sliced bread. Oh boy, I was a keeper. We were going to spend the rest of our life together. And then we'd have a fight and I'd go home. And both of us, I think, were probably too stubborn and too pig-headed and too proud to make amends, which is what we should have done.
Right.
Anyway, in no time at all, after I'd gone home and we split up, she had another boyfriend.
Okay.
That relationship with that boyfriend didn't work out. It only lasted 2 or 3 months, maybe.
Okay.
and we got back together again. Oh, excuse me.
No problem.
Then, after we got back, before we got back together, we sat down and had a talk. And I said, obviously, if we're going to get back together, we've got to change our ways. If we get back together and we don't change anything, we're going to get the exact same result. We're going to split up again.
Right.
Oh yes, you're right. She said, oh yes, we'll change. Oh yeah, da-da-da-da. But she didn't change at all. She couldn't.
Right.
I don't think it's in her nature to change. I did everything I could to make her happy. I coloured her hair. I cleaned her shoes. I pressed her pants. I sewed them down for her. I grew a moustache for her. But I don't like a moustache, but I grew a moustache for her. I did yard work for her. I did housework for her. I was down on my hands and knees scrubbing the kitchen floor, the bathroom floor, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the tubs around. I couldn't tell you the number of things I did to try and make her happy.
Doing general adult chores doesn't exactly strike me as going above and beyond for your partner. His rant about everything he did for her, combined with his disbelief that she went to another man, does, however, strike me as a big red flag. After breaking up with Andrew for good, about 2 months later, Lise began seeing a new man her age. This apparently sent Andrew into a rage, resulting in him sitting in his car and watching her house on several occasions. Then sending her letters like one that allegedly read, "I am writing to you because I am very worried about you going to bed at 1 a.m. And the letters got worse.
So then I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, what was her problem?
I have no idea.
No problems, no issues. You're doing everything for her. You guys are in a committed relationship. You love each other, is that right? But she picks these silly fights.
I loved her very, very much.
You loved her. Did she love you?
I don't know.
Oh. Did she ever tell you she did?
Oh, all the time, yeah. But you can't go by that. I've had other women tell me they love me and they're sleeping with somebody else on the side.
Well, have you ever told somebody you loved them when you didn't really and you just didn't want to hurt their feelings?
I don't think so.
Okay. No, because, it can happen. I agree with you.
Oh,
it can happen, right?
sure.
Do you miss her?
But, oh, God. Well, we kept in touch a lot after that.
Oh, okay. So it's not like it was cold turkey.
But, well, very shortly after we broke up, she started going with Ben.
Okay.
So then, no question, I was getting back together again.
Did
she
you?
She had a new boyfriend.
Do you know who this Ben guy is?
Oh yeah, well these guys she went with were guys at the club.
Okay. Right. That's got to be hard. Like, were you still going to the club after then for the socials on your own?
Oh yeah.
Was that hard seeing her there with other people?
Well, we had split up completely.
Yeah.
At first when we split up, we still saw each other, you know. She would come to my place, I would go to her place, and we were friends.
Yeah.
And we would dance together on a Saturday night. But it seemed to me, I don't know why. Maybe the boyfriend didn't want her to be friends with me. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we finished up. She had complained to the police about me.
Right.
Because I was mad one time and I wrote a little note to her, and it was not a nice note. It was a nasty note. And I regret very much having sent that. But still, There's nothing I can do about that now. Anyway, when she got this note, she complained to the police. The police came and saw me and told me that I shouldn't be bothering her.
Right.
And I said that was fine, and then
Andrew wasn't just leaving nasty notes. He would reportedly follow Lise to events, sit outside of her house, and leave her dozens of letters weekly, despite her refusing to write him back. One of those notes read, "I keep wondering how you can have sex with someone you don't love. Perhaps you should sit down and consider how you're going to pay for this lifestyle." After another 10 minutes of bragging about what a good old chap he is, Andrew tells the detective that the last time he saw Lise was at a dance on the Saturday before her death.
So the 8th at the dance, after the 8th, which is the Saturday, did you see her?
I saw that Saturday too.
The 1st? Okay. Did you see her any time after the Saturday at the dance?
No.
Okay, so that's the last time.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. What do
You
you
know, that lawyer told me I hadn't to speak to you.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. I told you that at the beginning as well, didn't I?
Yeah.
You are the one person that knows Lise better than anybody right now.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just talking about in that, you did have a relationship with her.
Oh yes. Generally speaking, a very good relationship.
Oh, I totally, I believe you. What do you think happened to her? Why would
I have no idea.
Why would somebody do this to her?
I don't know. I do know she was involved with other men.
Right.
I even suggested to one of the policemen it could have been a home invasion. Who knows? Who knows what happens?
So, up until here, where we know she went missing, was she seeing anybody that you know of?
Ben,
She is seeing Ben still.
she's been seeing Ben since very shortly after we broke up, which was 20th of April.
Yes. And that's, forgive me for my language, but you know what? That's kind of shitty,
What is?
what she did. Only in the sense that, you know what, you jump from one relationship right to the next. What does that say about you and your relationship? That's just my opinion. I just put that out there. I probably shouldn't even have said that, but it's the way I kind of look at it. Okay.
You know, I'm going to tell you, if I live to be 192, I will never understand women. And it may be that that's why I'm a bachelor. Because I take things very seriously.
As Andrew is about to see, he's not the only one who takes things seriously.
I've got no idea what Lise was thinking or what was going through her mind or anything else.
No, you're right, and I can only ask you from your point of view because I haven't had an opportunity to talk to her.
Well, you should talk to other people though and get their views.
Oh, we are, absolutely. This investigation has taken on a whole new direction now that we're here, okay?
I guess you have to start from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff and there's some things I want to share with you here today that we're doing so you understand what's going on. Because we do things very different, okay? And we have access to a lot of things that we're now going to utilize because this is, make no mistake, this is, in our opinion, a death investigation, a homicide, okay? We believe she's dead, okay? People don't just drop off the face of the earth and cease to exist. There's been no activity on her bank accounts. Nobody's heard from her. Nobody's seen her. There's a lot of other things we'll talk about. But that's just not normal, and you know that, right? And so we have other things that I'll discuss with you that logically, when we look at it, yeah, she's dead, and I know that. So, and we believe that somebody's responsible for that.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
you've charged me with murder.
Well, yeah, those are the charges before the courts. Yeah, and I'm going to explain to you why, so you understand
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're right. I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but we are now talking to a lot of people and getting a big picture of what's going on here. And I got a lot of other things that we're working on now too.
Well, this is exactly what the Peterborough police told me.
What did they tell you?
Well, I was speaking to this guy, Dan,
Okay.
and I was saying to him, well, did you speak to Ben? Oh no, I'm not speaking to Ben. Somebody else will speak to Ben. And I said to him, well, did you speak to Dave? Oh no, I'm not speaking to Dave. Somebody else will speak to Dave. And said, well, did you do this? Oh no, I'm not doing. You know, it seems to be everything's all mixed up. And I'm saying to myself, could they not have the one guy go and speak to everybody and then he maybe understand what the hell's going on instead of having half a dozen different detectives speaking to half a dozen different people?
I have a team of investigators here now. They are speaking to Ben. They are speaking to Dave. They are speaking to her daughter. They are speaking to her son. They are speaking to her grandkids. They are speaking to people at her work. They are speaking to neighbors. They are canvassing the neighborhoods. I have officers down at the Center of Forensic Sciences working with the scientists saying, hey, these are the exhibits we submitted, get working on them. Because this just took way too long. Way too long.
It's taken too long?
This has taken way too long.
Oh.
Way too long. I mean, really, she goes missing on the 12th, and there's all kinds of stuff that's happened there in the meantime. So, you know, and nobody even came to you and got a formal statement from you in the meantime. I mean, you were with her for years. Like, that shouldn't happen. Okay, but as a result, we got involved. We got some results back right away.
The police zeroed in on me right from the get-go.
Why do you think that they would do that?
I have no idea. Presumably somebody must have told them stuff.
Okay, well, this day right here.
What bothers me is,
Yeah.
by zeroing in on me, maybe there's things that they could have discovered that they're not going to discover now.
You cannot get tunnel vision, ever. Okay?
Well, the Peterborough police definitely had tunnel vision here, believe me.
You don't have to have tunnel vision or even be a detective to zero in on Andrew, no matter how badly he wants to play the victim. Firstly, he had already been reported to the police for stalking Lees. Over the border in the US, 76% of victims of intimate partner femicide have been stalked by their murderer. So, statistically speaking, there's a big arrow pointed at Grandpa Andy here. Then there's all the evidence that police found in his car and in his home. And it's not just a little evidence. It's a lot.
The evidence will take us where we need to be. That makes sense to you?
Well, it depends what you call the evidence.
I'm going to share some of it with you. Okay? Make no mistake, these are serious, serious allegations. Period. Somebody's life has been taken. We don't take that lightly. In fact, I can't think of anything more serious to be working on.
Yeah.
Okay? In her memory, for her kids,
Family.
for her grandkids, for her family, for the community, for everybody that's missing her right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, we still don't have her body.
Well, I'll tell you, there's nobody missing her more than I'm missing.
I believe you. I believe you. Right? And that's tough. I mean, you were with her for years.
Yeah.
You knew her intimately.
Yeah.
I'll never get that chance to talk to her, to have a conversation with her, to hear her accent. I'll never, ever have that opportunity. You did.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe you when you say that you miss her dearly. I do. I sit here and look at you, I'm going to say you're still in love with her.
Yeah, but the problem with me is being completely alone. I think that tends to make me different from other people.
In what way?
In as much as other people have their family, their friends, their relations, and the social activities they do. They have lots of things going on in their life.
Yeah.
My life is very, very quiet. There's nothing going on in my life. In fact, I was just saying to a friend, I've stopped friend stopped by yesterday to speak to me, and I was just saying to him, my big problem is that I spend 95% of my time in this house alone. So no matter what crime would be committed in Peterborough, I could not give the police an alibi.
I see what you're saying, yeah. But if I ask you now, what do you remember the 12th?
I don't want to. I'm not supposed to be speaking to you.
And you don't have to.
Yeah, I know. So,
okay.
I don't think I should.
But here's the thing. If you are grocery shopping on those days, and you have some receipts, which I'll check on, but the other thing is...
You should be speaking to these other guys.
We are. I have people here now doing it. Okay, but...
Are you speaking to Dan?
Yes, absolutely. I had him called in today. Okay.
And don't forget Ian.
There's Ian, there's Dan, there's these two boyfriends, Dave, you spoke of, and Ben are being spoken to. I've got her family in here right now. Okay? But...
They're nice kids, by the way.
They seem very nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to think about is, on this day, even though you didn't get a receipt, you remember how I talked about the fact that there's cameras everywhere?
Yeah.
Even though you walked in a store and didn't buy something, I'm going to go pull the video. Because they keep the video for a while, right? I'll pull the video, it shows you walking in, even though you didn't buy something, it validates what you're saying.
That reminds me, the Peterborough police told me they had me on video at Walmart. And I said to them, that is absolutely impossible, because I have not been near Walmart.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
And they said, well, we've got a video, you're on the video. And I said, well,
Who told you that?
Can I see the video? Oh no, we have, oh no, yeah.
Who told you that?
You see this thing about the police? They want you to answer all their questions, but they never, ever answer your questions.
Ask me a question. I've answered your question so far today. I'll answer the rest of them.
I'm talking about my experience with the police so far. It's been anything but good.
Complaining to the police about how much you dislike them to distract them from the fact that your alibi has completely fallen flat isn't the best strategy to get away with murder. Once more, Andrew goes on a rant about what a mess police made of his house. In response, the detectives decide to show him what a mess he's made out of his life.
I want to share a couple of things with you to show you that I'm here to give you some info. Okay?
Okay.
This isn't all about, me wanting info from you. You asked me a couple of things earlier, and I want to address them for you, okay? You asked me first of all, how do we know she's even missing and when she went missing? That's what you asked me, right? Is that what you asked me earlier? Does that make sense?
No, I just said to you I didn't know she was, at the time I didn't know she was missing.
No, but I mean, I'm telling you now from a police perspective as we move forward, we know she's missing. I've told you why, in that there's been no activity on her bank account. Nobody has heard from her. She hasn't phoned anybody. She hasn't reached out to contact anybody. Her car has not moved. It was like in her driveway. She was there. The family hasn't heard from her. She hasn't made withdrawals on her bank. She hasn't shown up for work.
Mm-hmm.
That's like somebody just dropped off the face of the earth. And we all know people don't do that.
Yeah.
We are creatures of habit. We have our routines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you say to me, how do we know some of these things, and how can I draw the conclusion that I believe, something bad has happened to her, I want you to look at that picture, okay? Now, first of all, I'll start with this one. Where is that?
That's her driveway.
Exactly. Okay. And whose car is that?
That's her car.
See that right there?
Yeah.
That's blood.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We'll start there, okay? But this is her house, this is her entrance, right? It looks familiar to you, right? Because you've been there before.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the back of her car.
Yeah.
Because see this little piece here?
Yeah.
That would be along here, or down
No,
the side.
down here.
Right. See that?
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
that?
That's blood.
That's blood. Okay.
I'm
and-
assuming.
Yeah, so am I, right?
Yeah.
But from my standpoint, between that at the front of the car and this at the back of the car, that's what I would refer to as a significant amount of blood.
foul play,
Yeah, foul play.
indicated foul play.
Absolutely right. Because that's not a cut finger.
No, no.
That's not a stub toe.
No.
That's significant, okay? There's a lot of things I can read into when I look at that, okay? So when I see those things. Then you look at that picture. So you obviously know that that picture is along here now, right?
Which one?
See this picture here? Right?
This,
Where is that in relation to
this
this?
picture here is there.
Exactly. Okay. See her keys? See an earring.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
they
And,
took my glasses away from me.
okay, well, right here is her car key, her house key, and right here is an earring.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a sign of a struggle. You can see how everything's kind of tossed up, and there's the edging of the blood right there, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's not normal. We know she didn't go in the house. We know her things are lying there, okay? There's another picture which is along the edge here.
Yeah.
That's her glasses, laying on the ground. It indicates a sign of a struggle.
Oh yeah.
Tells us that there was a struggle there,
Yeah.
okay? And we've got the blood
Did you see that her glasses are here?
right there.
That's her glasses.
That's her glasses right there. Okay. So that indicates to me a sign of a struggle.
Yeah.
Plus we've got the bleeding at the front of the car, we've got the bleeding at the back of the car,
Yeah.
and it's right at the entrance where she would be getting into her door.
Yeah.
How do I know that this day is the day she went missing? The 12th of November, which is a Wednesday, she was working. And she was working at Walmart.
Yeah.
So we've already verified that she worked her shift that day,
Mm-hmm.
and we verified what time she ended her shift and went home. So we know that she was alive all day. People spoke to her, people saw her,
Mhm.
people interacted with her, and people watched her leave work. Okay? So we know she left, and we presume, because her car's in the driveway, she eventually went home.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we know this day, because on the next day, the 13th, she didn't show up for work. Number one, which is unusual for her, right? She didn't go to work on the 13th. So that caused people some concerns. Family members didn't hear from her. Nobody could locate her. And this is what people found when they went to her house.
When tested, the blood on the driveway, her car, and later in Andrew's car were all a match for Lee's. Some of the blood, however, were mixed samples, combining the DNA of Andrew and Lee's. This suggests that Lee's defended herself to her last breath, harming Andrew in the process. And detectives may get a chance to see that struggle for themselves.
This is one of the things that we're now doing, and it started today. Do you remember when 9/11 happened in the United States?
Uh-huh.
The Twin Towers got
Uh-huh.
the terrorists,
Mhm.
okay? Ever since that day, the United States Department of Homeland Security, NASA, the American military, invested billions of dollars into satellite imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they did that was to try and prevent the attack of terrorist activities in the future. Because one of the questions they had was, how could we not see this coming? How could we not see a rogue plane coming? All these different things. As in anything, a lot of things that we do in the world are reactive to tragedies. So they enhanced billions of dollars into satellite imagery. And so what these satellites do now, they're orbiting 24/7 and they're snapping pictures
Mhm.
all the time. We have realized that law enforcement, police, only certain agencies have access to it. We can access those satellite imageries by contacting the Department of Homeland Security in the United States. And we have to have what we call a criteria offense. So it has to be serious. Treason, homicides, or attempt homicides. They won't look at it for anything else, okay? We also have to be very specific and give them either an address, and if we have an address, obviously we can give them latitude and longitudinal coordinates. You're a smart man, you understand what latitude and longitude is? Okay. It started today. The request has gone into the Department of Homeland Security, okay? We've provided them an address and we've provided them with the latitude and the longitudinal coordinates for her house. We know a struggle happened here on this driveway. Something happened, okay? when we put the request in, what happens now is they punch those coordinates into the database, access the satellite that was over the Earth at that point in time, and download the images. Okay? They download the images, images are forwarded to us. These images that come in are phenomenal because they're military grade. Okay, it's based on NASA premises, and so like I've had success in other cases where I've been able to focus down in on the make and model of a car. The quality is that good. Okay, that's one thing that's happening right now. Okay, the other thing that's happening right now since we're here is I've been to her house. I know where it's located. Okay, and one of the things I know is that when I go to her house...
These are good pictures, by the way.
They're not bad, eh?
Yeah, very good.
They're very good. The quality of pictures that are going to come in off that satellite will make those look like child's play. It's incredible what you're going to get. It's incredible what we can see.
Do you think I could ask you for another cigarette?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get you another cigarette.
Andrew is going to want more cigarettes after the detective introduces just one more piece of the massive pile of evidence they have against him.
So here's the thing. I went to her house. I stood in her driveway. I looked around. What do you think I saw?
No idea.
Big cemetery over here.
Oh, yeah.
Highland Park. Massive. Big gates.
Yeah,
Like, it's beautiful.
we used to go walking there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful spot. Right over here, a couple of doors down from her house, is a daycare being run out of a house. Right? Right over here is a big school. Just down the street.
Yeah.
Just down from the school, before you get back to the intersection, is a variety store, a convenience store. What do all of those things have in today's day and age? Cameras.
Yeah.
They all have cameras. It's the world we live in, right? Everybody has cameras now for security reasons. I have officers at every one of these locations, as you and I speak, accessing and downloading all the data for the 12th of November into the 13th of November, because she lives right on that corner. So now we're accessing all those cameras. We're accessing everything. Okay. Now, when I look at those cameras, when I look at the satellite imagery that's coming in, okay, and that's why I want to ask you this question. So on the evening of the 12th of November, so we're getting into the nighttime, after 7 o'clock at night, maybe even into the early morning hours of the 13th, but we're talking about that Wednesday night into the next day when she went missing. Is there any reason you can think of why, when I download these images from all this video footage and have a look at it, or when my satellite images come and arrive, okay, is there any reason you can think of why I'm going to see you or your vehicle in that area? And I just wanted to ask you that now, because maybe there's some logical reason that you were there or in that area that I'm not aware of, that we should talk about and clear up now, so that I don't have to come back and do it later. Any reason you can think of why I'm going to see you or your vehicle? No? Okay. And that's why I thought I'd ask now, right? Because this is just a matter of probably hours away.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, according to you, you've got it made.
What's that?
According to you, you've got it made.
Well,
it's just a question of time.
Yeah, it is a question of time, right? So, but that's why I wanted to ask you if there's any reason you can think of.
I've got nothing to say. That lawyer's going to be mad at me.
No, but I'm just wondering.
For talking to you.
Is there any reason you can think of why we would even see you there?
I don't know what to answer any questions at all.
Okay. All right. But I just wanted you to understand that's one of the things we're working on. Okay, so I wanted to give you some info. I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Because it looks as if you're definitely going to have this wrapped up pretty soon. I still don't know why they don't just let me go home and stay at home where I would be comfortable. Because I'm certainly not going to be going anywhere or doing anything.
Fed up with Andrew's nice guy old man act, the detective decides it's time to show him even more evidence against him.
You recognize that?
Yeah, that's my car.
That's your car. Okay. And that's your carport?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was that a picture of?
Looks like an exhaust tailpipe.
Yeah, and it's actually this one over here. I just want to show you. It's this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is a close-up
Uh-huh.
of this exhaust pipe.
Mhm.
So the way that vehicle's facing right now, that would be the driver's side.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you agree that's your car?
Mm-hmm.
That's your carport?
Yep.
Okay. So this is this blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
It's blood. This is back here on your tailgate. It's a close-up, okay, on the tailgate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's blood.
Mm-hmm.
This, it's kind of dark, but it's what we call the pillars.
Yeah.
So this is the driver door, passenger door. On the
Yeah,
passenger
yeah,
side,
Yeah, yeah,
there's blood there.
yeah.
Okay. So what I've done is, that's blood, and that's blood
Uh-huh.
on your car.
Mm-hmm.
Whose blood do you think that is?
No idea. But I told the police right at the beginning, right on the day they took me away on Thursday, I told them if they wanted blood, I would give them blood.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they could compare it to this blood.
Is there any, like, is it logical? Would that be your blood? Have you cut yourself?
Yeah, I cut myself here.
Okay, and how'd you do that?
I did it with a chisel.
A chisel?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
And I explained all this to Dan.
Okay.
I even showed him what I was working on when it happened, and showed him how it happened and everything else. He actually helped me.
Did he? Okay. Now, after you cut your hand, did you touch your car?
I must have.
Is there any reason you could think of why that would be
I don't know.
her blood? Lisa's
I
blood.
have no idea.
It's her blood.
Oh, it's her blood.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks to me like you've got everything wrapped up.
You're a very logical man. You're a very smart man.
I'm not a very smart man at all.
You are.
Quite sure if you tested my intelligence, it would be, at best, it would be average.
Well, what I mean by that is this. You are a very logical person. And so I don't want to sit here, and play any type of games with you.
Uh-huh.
I want you to understand why you're here, because I think you deserve to be treated with respect and courtesy,
Yeah.
just the same way you've treated me here today,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. I'm telling you right now that that's her blood on your car,
Uh-huh.
okay? But I'm also prepared to back it up because you're such a smart man. That's the report from the Center of Forensic Sciences that you may have a look at and read, which is not my opinion. It is their opinion that they have done the scientific tests and they have verified the fact that it's her blood on your car. And you can read through that, take your time. Or I can read it to you. Would you like me to read it to you?
I don't have my glasses.
Want me to get them for you?
No, I don't need to read that. I'll take your word for
Okay.
it.
That's her blood on your car.
Okay.
Okay? So I just want you to be aware of that.
Mhm.
Okay? You haven't seen her since the Saturday before she went missing.
That's right.
So she hasn't been in your car because she hasn't been anywhere near your car. And yet her blood is on your car. How does that happen?
I don't know.
You do know. That's the thing.
No idea.
We're at a point right now where like, this isn't a what happened to her. This isn't a whodunit. Okay, we know she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're responsible. But there's still some, the big question is the why. That's the only answer we have left is the why did this happen? It's not did you do it. We know you did, okay?
Tell me something.
Yes.
Did you execute a search warrant on Ben's house or car?
Myself, I haven't. I just got here today.
Sorry?
I said I just got here today, so no, I haven't.
Well, did the Peterborough Police execute a search warrant on Ben's house or car?
No, not yet.
Did they execute a search warrant on Dave house or car?
What does that have to do with anything at this point? Because those investigations are ongoing, and those people are certainly being looked at. However, the evidence takes me where I need to be, and I have her blood all over your car.
Despite Andrew's attempts to pin the murder on Lisa's new lover boy, the evidence clearly told a completely different story. And the detective hasn't even uncovered the evidence inside Andrew's home. There, law enforcement finds a shovel and a bucket of bleach. And though Andrew was trying to destroy evidence, detectives still found trace amounts of Lisa's blood in the bucket and on the shovel. They believe that Andrew used the shovel to bludgeon 74-year-old Lise to death.
We're at this point where you know exactly what happened to her. Now, the way I have to look at it is, and I do look at it like this, do I think for one moment that you planned all this? Absolutely not. Do I think for one moment that you woke up one day and said that I'm going to harm her and take her life? No, I don't think that at all. Okay? But the fact is, it did happen.
I love her.
I know you do. So help us bring her back. Because there's family.
If you're convinced she's dead, you're not going to bring her back.
No, but you know what? You know as well as I do, there's grandkids and a daughter and a son that would like her remains.
And the brother.
That would like her remains.
Yeah.
Okay?
Anyway.
And I know you love her.
It looks to me like you've got this all wrapped up.
But I want her.
Oh.
I want her back. People deserve that, and you know that.
I cannot answer any more questions at all.
But you can. You absolutely can, because you can make up your own mind.
The lawyer told me not even to speak to you, but being the kind of guy I am, I don't mind speaking to you.
You've been a gentleman.
But
you've been respectful. You've been cooperative.
You're just telling me that you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I killed Lise for dead. This is what you're telling me. Right?
I'm telling you that this evidence supports the allegations.
There's no point in us talking any more about this.
Well, there's actually...
As far as I can see, you've got this whole thing wrapped up.
But how are you going to dispute it?
I am not qualified.
Sorry?
I am not qualified to do blood analysis or anything like that.
And nor am I, and that's why the scientists will come in, because it's not my opinion, it's the scientists that will come in and say, this is what they do for a living. And then there's all the images that are coming, all the cameras that are being downloaded.
Mm-hmm. You got it made.
But what are you going to say then? You're going to look at the community, you're going to look at the family, you're going to look at everybody, and then what are you going to say?
I'm going to say I didn't do this.
So... And everybody's going to look at an image, everybody's going to hear about the DNA, everybody's going to read the results, and you're still going to stand there and say, I didn't do it?
I don't know what I'm going to say till I speak to a lawyer.
The thing is, you're a grown man, you can speak for yourself, number one, okay? I know you love her. Period. That is not a doubt in my mind. I know you love her.
Well, if you're quite sure she's dead, then it's the past tense.
You know she's dead. You know she's gone. You and I don't need to play a word game back and forth.
I'm not playing. I'm just telling you I don't want to speak to you. That's all. Because the lawyer told me not to speak to you.
Then she deserves better than where she is right now.
Oh.
You know that, and I know that. Okay? She deserves better than where she is right now. And let's bring her home.
Do you think you would be able to get me a mattress and a pillow or something for that cell?
Yeah, I mentioned that to you earlier, that yes, when I spoke to you earlier at the cells, I indicated to you that when you go back in there, yeah, I'll get you looked after.
It's awful uncomfortable the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't think there's any chance of me going home and staying at home? No. Oh, well.
Let's bring her home.
No. Anyway, it's nice talking to you. And no doubt you'll be wanting to talk to me again.
We're not done right now.
Oh, we're not done now then.
No.
Well, I just told you I don't want to answer any more questions. That's all.
That's fine. You can listen. I'm allowed to talk,
Oh, sure.
right?
Sure.
The detectives are desperate to find Lisa's body, but even from this small interaction, you can see a sense of pride from Andrew. If he's going down for the murder, at least he can continue to have control over her body. But can the detective crack him?
You have an opportunity right now to tell me your side of what happened. It's tragic, it happened, it cannot be reversed, and we know that. We all make mistakes in life, we've all done things that we regret. You're in a position where, like I said, you now have an opportunity to say, Scott, this is what happened. If you have remorse, if you feel bad, if you feel guilty,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity.
Yeah. But the lawyer told me not to speak to you.
And that is fair, but you can also speak to yourself.
Yeah, but why would I have a lawyer to advise me and then ignore what he advises? That would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it?
No, I can't comment on that at all because people can make up their own mind. You indicated earlier, what if the lawyer wasn't smart enough to do what you wanted him to do? Those were your words earlier. What if he didn't know to object? What if he didn't know what he was doing?
Yeah.
So you're a very smart man to know that you can also
And you
speak
know
for
you're-
yourself. Maybe you came home and found her in the driveway because somebody else knocked her out and you panicked and you thought, I need to get rid of the remains. Whatever spin you want to put on it, let's go get her.
Maybe it was a home invasion.
Maybe. But
But nobody ever...
did they use your car?
Nobody... I don't know.
Did your car go missing?
I don't...
Did you lend it to anybody?
Not that I know of, but somebody could have stolen it.
Did anybody steal your car?
I don't know. I'm sitting in the house all the time. I don't know what's going on. I do know my car's been ransacked in the past. I told you, I sit in the house reading it all the time.
But we have a witness that says you left
Okay,
that.
okay. Good for you. You've got it all wrapped up. Why do you keep going on?
Because I would like to bring Lise
Well,
back to her
bring her
family.
back or whatever. Do whatever you like. Just don't involve me. The lawyer told me not to even talk to you. I should have been talking to you all this time.
You know that you're involved, so how can I step back and not involve you? You're a logical man, you know that. Okay? That's the one thing that you're conflicted with right now is the fact that you are so logical and you are so...
I'm not conflicted at all.
Then I've underestimated you.
The only thing that's bothering me is these conditions that I'm under.
Do you understand you're under arrest for murder?
I understand
You
that.
understand-
Do you understand these conditions?
You're in a jail cell.
Eh?
You're in a jail cell.
These are terrible conditions, for God's sake. For somebody who supposedly is innocent, has not been convicted of any crime,
That's right.
to have to put up with these conditions is just abominable.
The family is sitting in this building right now, and it's the where is she?
Oh, they're in this building?
They're in this building.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and it's the where is she?
Ah.
That's the only question they have. They don't care about the why. They don't care about the circumstances.
Mm.
They're not judging.
Mhm.
They're not, okay? They just want their mom back. They want their grandma back.
Yeah, they're a nice family.
They are.
Yeah.
And so I think they deserve
And I
that.
got on very well with them.
And that's what they said too.
Mm.
Yeah, I honestly believe they are a very nice family,
Yeah.
okay? But they want mom back. They want grandma back,
Uh-huh.
okay? So let's go get her. You and I can go
I'm
get
not
her.
going anywhere except back to myself, where hopefully I'll get a pillow and a mattress and maybe even a blanket. Because that is an awful uncomfortable place.
Ultimately, Andrew was convicted of first-degree murder. At his trial, Lisa's children and the judge begged him to disclose where Lisa's body was so that they could give her a proper burial. In response, Andrew cockily said, "No thank you." In 2022, Andrew died in prison, taking the location of Lisa's body to his grave. He was willing to not only kill Lise for rejecting him, but by denying her a proper burial. He got to maintain a sick hold of control over her. Fortunately, her family carries on her name and legacy in spite of Andrew's cruelty. Lise was a strong-willed, adventurous lover of life, and that lives on in all who loved her.
Samo u MaxBetu. Zavrti svaki dan. Besplatno. Osvoji do 200.000 spinova. Nagrade padaju na 12 sati. Iskoristi trenutak za dobitak.
Oh my God.
Isn't that horrible?
He just showed me pictures of the face, dude. Holy.
I flipped him over
I do
again.
understand.
I patted his back.
I do understand.
I tried to wake him up as best I could. I freaked the out, man.
I get
him up. Get up, man, please. Please
I
get
understand.
up, man. I didn't do nothing.
Watch your day in there.
I just hurt my son.
I'm not saying you did. All right? I'm not saying you did. Hey.
Oh, my God.
Police and paramedics are called to a frantic scene at a Georgia gas station, where the parents of an 8-month-old infant claim he suffered a terrible accident. But the baby's injuries raise chilling questions, and the investigators will have to work their way past an extremely volatile father to find the answers.
If he was to die, it's going to hurt twice. I lose my son, I lose my freedom.
The following report is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On the night of January 30th, 2022, police and medics in Peach County, Georgia, respond to an emergency call coming from a Buc-ee's gas station. They arrive to find an unresponsive infant and his distraught mother.
Are you Mama? Are you Mama? Okay.
I can't do this.
What's your name, ma'am?
Shelly Rooks.
You'll go ahead and be
Shelly Brooks?
Rooks.
Brooks?
I have a dog. I need to go ahead and go. Well, we don't know where he's going to go quite yet. I'm not sure where he's going. But y'all got him. Y'all going to be able to get a stable enough to be. They're doing everything they can do right now.
Okay, how old is
8 months around about his birthday be about 2021.
Central 223.
What's the matter with his right leg?
The fact that the baby already has a pre-existing injury is still on the EMT's mind as they walk around to meet the child's father, Christopher Palmer.
Okay, bud.
My life.
Just
off top of your head. I don't got it off top of my head. What is your name? Shelly Rooks.
Hey,
Shelly, yes.
how long y'all been here?
Last name Rooks. R-O-O-K.
Not long? But what's not long?
You're the mom, right?
Why that?
Over an hour, probably under 2.
About hour and a half or so, let's say.
Between hour and 2. Shelly, how long we been here? What was his leg? What was the deal with his leg? How long ago? It was about 2 to 3 weeks. His leg, right? He jumped in, played pin. 2 weeks ago. Okay, 2 weeks ago, and he fell out of the playpen. No, he had jumped in. Or a year and a half old. Other brother jumped into the playpen. To the playpen on him.
Wrestling.
No, he just jumps in to take his bottle. He wants his bottle all the time.
Okay, and he just landed on his leg.
Did they break it, bruise it? Sprained it. I think he sprained it.
Okay.
So talk to us. So what was happening? So what was the call? Was he just stop breathing?
Yes. No, he fell. He'll tell you more.
Okay, so he fell? What did he fall? How did he fall? Where did he fall? He fell on his face?
What did he fall on?
But what did he fall on? Did he hit his face on the ground? On the ground?
The ground or the floor? The floor in the house.
Was he on anything, or was he standing up when he did it?
I was holding his seat and he slipped.
24 to 32.
So he slipped out of your hands?
Foolish.
Hey, I'm just calm down, all right? I'm sorry. Hey, Christopher, calm down. I need you to calm down.
I am calm. Trust me, I'm calm.
While the child's father tries to keep his composure, Warner Robins police officers begin to sense there's more going on here than meets the eye.
Dude, his hands? Dude, I got like marks on his hands, marks. I mean, you saw the hair. They said anything?
Said that they were giving him a bath and dropped him.
Bro, that's not a drop.
And that his little brother, who's like 1, jumps in his crib and stuff and lands on top of him all the time. That's how he's got all the bruises.
Bruises don't pop up that quickly.
Yeah, on kids.
No.
Babies shouldn't have bruises like that.
No. Absolutely not.
Don't care if you ain't got no place to live up in the RV.
With suspicions building, an officer gets on the phone with his sergeant to explain the situation at Buc-ee's.
We got an 8-month-old, has a pulse, but it's faint. They're working on him. Looks like visible signs of neglect and maybe, I don't know, abuse. There's bruises all over the child. Child's got rash all over him. They're living in this RV. They've been up here for, they said, 2 weeks. In my opinion, they both may be under the influence of some type of methamphetamine.
All right, lock everything down. No one leaves. Posted. I'm going to call the lieutenant.
All right, they're about to transport the baby to Macon.
They're going to Macon. You go with. It's crime section. We're locking it down. It's our RV now.
But the baby's parents don't take this news well.
Can we follow behind the ambulance?
No, ma'am. I need y'all in the RV and everybody to stay here. They're about to
You're not
transport
getting
him.
what I'm saying. Can we follow the ambulance? He don't want to see the baby.
No.
I'm going to the hospital.
Listen to what I'm saying. Everyone here, you, your husband in the RV is staying here until we tell you can leave. Yes, ma'am.
Da li želiš dijamant? Saznaj više na mozartbet.com. Važno je s kim igraš.
Does that mean he's gone for pretty much?
No, I'm not saying that at all, ma'am.
No, but you be honest with me. What does it mean?
It just means that
I know you.
my supervisor has to come out here and talk to y'all before anybody can leave, okay?
You guys might just put me down too, man.
No, sir, we're not going
Yeah,
to do
hell
anything
yeah,
like
you
that.
trust me, I don't want to be here, man.
No, sir, everything's going to be okay.
God, I hear this all the time, man.
No, you're not, sir.
I should have stayed awake. I was awake with you. I was.
I'm not incapable of it, man. God damn.
What,
Am I that incapable?
As Christopher's agitation grows, the officers discuss their next steps.
He's getting unhappy, which, what does he want us to do with him? I think we need to get them away from him.
Do what?
He's getting pissed, which is understandable. So,
Mel's getting very agitated.
He's about to start something, try to go to jail.
They won't let me see my son. You won't talk to me. I didn't do nothing.
Sir.
I didn't do nothing. I'm pissed off, man. Sound like I'm sitting flag up for no goddamn reason, man.
Hey.
What, man?
My name is Sergeant Wilcox. I'm one of the supervisors on duty tonight, okay? I understand that you're upset. I understand.
I'm pissed off, man.
Listen. This is a traumatic experience, and we understand
Nah,
that.
man, you don't.
Yes, we do.
And I did this. It feels like I tried to. Man, I tried my son. I did nothing.
Accidents, listen. Accidents sometimes happen, okay? That doesn't mean they're any less painful, okay? Right now, we have certain procedures that we have to go through.
Man, do you guys do something? I go to the hospital, man.
We're going to get you there as soon as we can. Okay?
Man, I know that. Man, it takes hours, man, and if I lose my son before I better not lose. I'm telling you, because you'll have to take me to goddamn prison for the rest of my life.
Listen. Bear with me. I'm trying to get you an update right now, okay? All right? As I understand it, when he left here, he had a pulse. I'm expecting
the whole time.
I'm expecting good things, okay? You did what a dad's supposed to do. You did what a dad's supposed to do.
What do you need to do?
I need to make a couple of phone calls. I'll be right back.
What do you mean by
Just hold tight.
But as the sergeant makes his calls, it quickly becomes clear that holding tight is not Christopher's strong suit.
One officer said, asked me if I use drugs.
Oh, so that's what it is. They automatically assume it's goddamn drugs. That man. Any goddamn drug. My son fell.
Yes, we did.
Because if I drug, I feel happy, man. I ain't goddamn happy.
The pictures are bad. The baby had extensive bruising to the left side of his head, a lot of redness around his mouth. He had spot bruises, almost like fingertip bruises, all over the other side of his forehead, down both arms, hands, and both legs.
I don't even like y'all, man. Oh, man. We make her wait, we wait. Make my kids see this man. What's wrong with y'all, man?
The inside of the RV is pretty dadgum nasty. They've got two other children, 2-year-old and a 3-year-old inside.
What do you guys think? I did this to my baby?
I'm not saying that, sir.
No, say what you think, sir.
No, sir, I'm doing it. All I'm doing is a job. You know what I'm saying? I got to do.
Well, who's the one that thinks that? If it's just that's what you're pointing towards.
No one's pointing towards
bring
that.
it to my face and we'll figure it out from there.
No one's pointing.
Somebody is, because I'm still sitting here.
We're fixing to have to fight Dad.
Can I make up some? So I did let me go to the hospital, man. I'll say whatever you need me to goddamn say, man, so someone can be there with my son, man.
We're going to get y'all out of here as fast as we can.
Man, I want her now to go, man. You want to go, Shelly? Right now? Shelly.
I want to be with my baby.
Do you want to
Yes,
go?
I do. I want to be there.
What do I need to tell you so she can go? Tell me, man, so I know what to say,
That's
man.
not how it works, sir.
It's exactly how it works.
No, sir.
If you need what you got, she can go.
We're going to get all of y'all out of here as soon as we possibly can.
The officers do their best to keep the frantic father calm, but Christopher's impatience only grows as the minutes tick by.
I gotta stand, man. I can't sit like this.
Can you get up and start getting walk around?
Yeah, you want to walk right here?
Off, man.
Sir, you can stand outside the RV here.
Man, I'm getting pissed as man. Man, you guys have to do what you gotta do, right? Can't take it. I'm a hostage, right?
Not a hostage, sir.
Man, the I ain't, man.
Just take a breath. Keep it together for your family.
Man, keep what together, man? You guys are with me now.
In the meantime, Sergeant Wilcox tries to find out what's going on at the hospital.
Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, Dave?
Right now, they put him straight into the operating room. They're looking him over now. I'm waiting for an update from the doctor as we speak.
All right, here's what's going on right now. Baby is up at the hospital. They're examining him now. He does have a heartbeat. He is alive, okay? They're checking on scans and all of that, okay? So we're doing good right now.
I didn't hurt him when I was twitching.
We're doing good right now, okay? Hold together for a few more minutes. I'm gonna try and get a little bit more information. Just a little bit more information.
Man, I hurt him. I know I did do CPR. I know I hurt him.
Sometimes when you do CPR,
no, you understand? I flipped him over again.
Understand.
I patted his back.
I do understand.
Man, I tried to wake him up as best I could. I freaked the f*** out, man.
I get it.
Get up, man, please. Please
I
get
understand.
up, man.
Right now, the child is receiving the absolute best care possible.
Okay,
Macon is a level 1 trauma center.
I'm a little confused. Hold on.
Give us a minute. We're going to be dealing with y'all in just a second.
Confused. So you guys think we did it?
No, sir, he's not saying that. Not saying that.
But Christopher's suspicions about the holdup are growing, and it won't be long before he says something that escalates the situation.
You guys are holding me here against my will. Against my will. That is illegal to hold me against my will. Are we under arrest?
Sir.
Are we under arrest?
You're not under arrest.
So we can leave then, right?
Not right now.
Then I'm under arrest.
No, sir, you're not under arrest.
How can I not leave if I'm not under arrest?
My partner just explained it to you like my supervisor explained.
You guys want
There's
to
an investigation that goes through this.
Does this take hours?
No, ma'am, it's not going to take hours.
We've been here for 40 minutes already. How is it going to take an hour? You say you'll be done in 20 minutes? Is that what you're telling me?
He's literally, they're finishing up with phone calls as we speak.
Phone calls? They still have to get here.
I know, and they're on the way. I can tell you they are on the way. Yes, they are on the way.
Just shoot me, guys.
Christopher may have meant that as an offhand remark, but the police aren't taking any chances.
He just told Opitz we're going to have to shoot him. Then he has confirmed with me there are firearms in the vehicle.
Have him step out and talk to me.
Okay.
I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to give you a ride up there in my vehicle because it's faster. When he steps out of the vehicle, put him in handcuffs.
Okay.
Boss man, listen, my man. Hey, you ready to go?
Hospital, yes.
I'm going to take you because I can't take everybody in the family. I'm going to take you the quickest in my vehicle.
I'll stay with my family.
Okay, my vehicle's fast. We're going to get there now.
I don't care.
They
I'll
need...
stay with my family.
No. Listen, they need you. I get that.
No,
Your daughter...
No, you don't.
No. Your baby, they need a parent up there to give parental consent. I need you there.
Let us go.
Then come on, let's go.
All of us.
I can only take one at a time.
You can tell your people to get here. It's important.
They're
or
on-
let us go.
I was on the phone with him when y'all had to come over here and talk to you.
You didn't have to come over.
I did
Now
have
it's my
to.
fault, huh?
No, listen to what I'm saying. Okay? When you tell my guys about something about we're going to have to shoot you and all that,
No,
we
I
don't...
said it's police shooting down my measurements. We're sitting here doing nothing.
No, that's not the case. We're not doing nothing. We're doing everything right now.
We're sitting here doing nothing.
We're doing everything right now.
You can't pee in our own house because you guys think whatever. When you're all wrong, y'all f*** off, man.
Yes.
The ruse is unsuccessful, but after a detective arrives on scene to a less than friendly greeting,
Turn. Just stay still.
he briefly interviews the couple, reviews the evidence, and the decision is made to dispense with the games.
Grab him and snatch him out. Grab him and snatch him out. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on out. Come on out. Hold still. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back.
I didn't do nothing.
Put your hands behind your back.
Relax.
Please don't, man.
Don't make this harder than you
I don't want to tell me why I'm under
Put your
arrest.
hand behind your back.
Why am I under arrest? Please tell me why.
You're being detained for investigative purposes. Put your
That's
hands
fine,
behind
but why?
Put your hands behind your back.
I didn't do nothing.
Stay in there. Richard, watch our back.
I'm good.
Just calm down, sir.
I'm good now. I'm good.
Put your hands behind your back.
You're on my handle, sir. You're on my other
Stand by. We'll get your other hand.
hand. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, pull this hand out.
Yeah, pull it out, sir. Can you pull it out, sir? Can you pull it?
Pull it out.
There you go.
All right. We're going to get you up. Hold still.
I don't know why I'm under arrest.
All right, listen to me. We're good. All right.
Clear my throat.
All right, I'm gonna roll you to your side. You're unsure.
No, I'm not fighting him.
All right, listen to me. Okay?
I'm not fighting him.
I understand. Listen to me. Right now, baby's still stable, just like I told
listen,
you.
man.
Listen to me.
Why am I under investigation?
Listen.
I dropped my son.
Look, there's other things in play right here. Okay? You stand by. You keep doing what you're doing right now.
Man,
all right?
man,
this other resistance. Hey, listen. This other resistance, I get it.
I'm going to arrest. I just wanted to know why you arrested me. You didn't tell me.
Right now, there's evidence consistent on that child with abuse or neglect. Okay? We're still investigating all that, but we have enough to detain you right now. That's why we're being detained.
So I'm going to jail. My family don't have me.
You're going to be interviewed. Your wife is going to be interviewed. All right? But you're going to be interviewed at police headquarters.
Christopher temporarily calms down, but when Shelley expresses her doubts about his innocence, he quickly ramps back up again.
You bring the boys to give me a hug before I go?
They said you did it.
How the they do it? Y'all here? Who said I did it? Who said I did it?
Sir.
Did what? Yeah, man, I beat the shit. Wake him up, man.
Here. Sir, do you want this?
I didn't tell you. You want to believe go ahead, but I did not do it, man. Why would I kill my son?
Your son is still stable, sir.
Why would I even do anything, man?
You want this?
No, I just my other charges. That's why they think that. It's not like.
The official police report includes information about Christopher's previous run-ins with the law, which include crimes against women, family violence charges involving Shelley and the kids, and a disturbing offense against 2 young children that landed him on New York's sex offender registry. While it's unclear how these cases were adjudicated, it's certainly clear that Christopher's agitation at the scene is turning into rage.
I feel like I'm going to get really angry, man.
What's going on?
Motherfucker, lose my cool, dude. And I don't care about consequences when I do it. Go bad.
No, sir. No, you didn't.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
You didn't go.
I'm about to go.
Just stay calm for just a little bit.
In a big ditch.
Oh my God. Isn't that horrible? Yeah. He may not even talk to me after that.
Who's the
Častimo nov stres tiket od 1000 dinara. Ako ne prođe, vraćamo novac na nalog. Registruj se.
fuck that thinks they're going to just point the finger at me? Man the up, dog.
We can go ahead and take him to the PD.
I didn't touch my son!
With Christopher on the verge of losing it, the cops let him say goodbye to his family.
08-444-9708.
I'm sorry, you believe that? You're taking my money too? Man, I'm going to jail. They're going to put me in jail. They believe I did because my charge. I'm not lying. I know this.
You're down for interview right now.
Yeah, right now, but I know what it leads to. I'm not lying.
But mom and baby needs the money, right?
Yeah.
Mom needs the money for the babies?
You want her to have the wallet?
Just give me $40. I'll be all right. And keep your ass.
Is there an ID for you in there? In your wallet?
Shelly, we're going to jail. You hear me?
Say it again.
Look at me.
Yeah.
You know that, don't you? You believe I did it too?
He does.
No.
Just look me in my face so I understand. Don't lie to me. What? I did not hurt my son. Look at me. I might have picked at him, but I did not hurt my son like that. I swear to God I did.
The police lead Christopher away and discover that getting him into the transport wagon will not be easy.
Well, I got to breathe for a minute, man.
Breathe?
Oh, man, you guys are going to have to hurt me, man.
No, we don't want to.
You're going to have to down.
Come on, let's go. We're going to walk. We're going to walk. Come on. Calm. Calm down. All right, want to have a seat? Right here.
Yeah, man, damn.
Come on. Come on, my dude.
Beat my ass or something, man. I need it, please, man.
No one's beating you.
Please, I need it.
Come on, we'll have a seat.
I need it, man.
Come on.
Have a seat right there.
Hey,
I need you to.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
I did not hurt my son.
I'm not saying you did. All right? I'm not saying you did. Hey.
Oh my God!
Deep breath.
Take me out, man. I don't want to be here.
No one's taking anybody out.
I don't want to be here. Please hurt me, man. Please hurt me. Do what I gotta do.
Nobody's gonna hurt.
No one's gonna hurt.
Take a ride.
Hurt me, man. Please. I didn't hurt my.
Come on, step back.
I can't breathe.
The police eventually get him in the wagon and transport Shelley, Christopher, and the children to the police station. But while the scene at Bucky's is brought to a close, this investigation is only getting started.
Hey man, you remember me? From over at the camper? Do you want to talk to me about what happened?
What would you like to talk about?
Well, I got to take you into an interview room and read you Miranda.
What happens if I don't talk to you?
Well, you're being charged anyway at the moment. That's how it's looking. So, I mean, do you want to talk? At the moment, cruelty to children in the first degree, possibly aggravated assault.
Elsewhere at the station, Shelley is given some bad news.
What's the reasoning that they have not allowed me or my family, my children?
Well, for one, we can't get a hold of your dad. And it probably more than likely, that's where they'll end up going. Because that's what they ultimately want. They want a trusted family member to watch after these kids, at least for the time being.
So they don't think I'm going to put enough for my children.
Right now, I think it's best if there's an environment change, if nothing else, because they cannot continue to live in an RV with that man.
I agree with you.
They ask Shelley to walk with them down the hallway, where she realizes that things are about to get even worse.
Miss Rooks, just stop for a minute. Okay, turn around.
Huh?
Turn around for us. Just put your hands right here, okay?
Why am I doing that? Can y'all tell me why I'm going to jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
To put it bluntly, okay? That child has a lot of injuries, and he's had a lot of medical conditions and a lot of injuries that have not been treated, and they have not been cared for. That child needed to be in a hospital before tonight, and you guys did not take him to a hospital.
But you don't think during that time I wanted it? I did.
It doesn't matter if you wanted it or not. It's the fact that you didn't do it.
How do I do it, though, sir, when I have no other way? He has a gun and he'll hold it to your head or he'll hurt you. How do you get away from that? You're
It's
telling me
putting your
not.
children before yourself. Your fear of physical harm has got to be overridden by your children's safety. It's almost just as bad to sit back and watch and do nothing, though, when you know you could have done something.
But even though Shelley and Christopher have been arrested, many questions remain about what happened tonight and in the weeks leading up to it. And it won't be until investigators sit down with the two for separate interrogations that the full horrors that occurred within their RV will finally come to light.
I'm afraid to talk to you guys about it again. I don't want to hurt myself anymore. I feel like I'm in a big shit combined, and I don't even know how I got here. I mean, I know why I'm sitting here. People say that.
The other day you told me that it was something else, and I was just saying that I hurt my baby. I never touched my child.
Who's saying that, though?
They said that's what my charges are. It's on my baby.
You're not charged with that, ma'am. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, you're not charged with inflicting harm on your child. We are not saying that you are the one that did that.
I never hurt my babies.
We're not accusing you of physically doing the harm, but the fact that in the situation he's in and nobody intervened soon enough to prevent that. So that's kind of where we stand with your charges.
The detectives realize that if they're going to get the true story out of Christopher and Shelley, they'll need to know more about their transient lifestyle.
Where do you guys get the money to put the gas in? And
we had to fly every day. That was like hold a sign and kill us. Having to be able to have that normal life to do that hurt. Like every time we would ride down, I'd say, I wish we could stop doing this and I could have a life like these people at this house when I seen it, or we see somebody play and it would affect me. And He always had to do that. Never had a stable life like that.
What did he say when you would ask for a more stable life?
Can't do it. It's better to go. It's better to be on it. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Was he paranoid? And when I say that, was he nervous about other people?
Because he had previous charges, so the people would always try to hurt him because of that, and he was wanted at one time.
Witnesses who ran across the couple say they would often carry signs saying they lost their house in a fire, which may not be entirely false. Shelley's father tells police that Christopher torched the previous camper. The detectives dig deeper into the couple's dynamic, only to find a vault of troubling secrets buried beneath the surface.
So I got a question about the inside of the bathroom door has a little damage. Like
There's a lot of damage where I got mad when they ripped it apart.
What happened?
I was just angry that day.
Whatever he had at that point, put it locked in either the bathroom, and he felt like I was going to leave that night. I'd be where I couldn't leave.
He'd lock in the bathroom. How would he do that?
Like with the lock pin on the door is where you put up.
And you did that damage, not anyone else?
No. That was when she was going to leave one time over something stupid. Her family picture. I don't know. It's a big wreck.
She wasn't inside that bathroom, locked in that bathroom, though?
I don't know. Why was she in the bathroom locked in the bathroom? Can't lock any doors anyway. Don't have locks on them.
Would she ever feel like that she couldn't leave?
No, I don't know. Maybe anytime she wants to leave.
But that's not the picture Shelley paints of their relationship.
Hit me across my eyes, punch me here, just jump on top. Like if he got real upset, jump on top of me, on top of the bed, and holding the knife to me. Even when I was pregnant, many a times.
What would he say when he did stuff like that? What kind of comments would he say to you?
You fat. Why you gotta look at everybody in the world? And I always kept my head down and turned. I never even looked up to even look at everybody. Always looking at somebody.
Even at Bucky's, police were suspicious that Shelley and Christopher were not exactly equal partners.
I have no doubt that the guy, she's battered. I mean, really. I mean, if I would have had to bet my pace, I would say she's battered. He keeps her.
Well, he was born in 81, so he's 41. She's born in 96. Yeah. She's half his age.
It's one. I have no doubt.
Can I ask you, and don't be offended by this, do you have an intellectual disability?
What's happening?
Do you have any type of disability?
Yeah.
You do? What do you have?
I don't know if I'm not paid for it. I just know it's hard for me to do life like normally. Like, I always want to be somebody else because I don't understand. And
so do you get disability checks?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How have you been spending those?
He spends them. I have no control over money.
So you don't even know where they're going?
Shelley's mother would tell police in a later interview that Shelley's father had been in control of her disability payments until he became overwhelmed with the constant harassment from Christopher about the money. Soon thereafter, she said she believed that Christopher gained complete control over Shelley's finances.
Does anybody get any disability or?
Shelley does, yeah.
She does?
She gets a side.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
How much does she get per month?
I don't remember. Changes.
It changes? Why does it change?
Well, it depends on yearly thing. I don't know. She does all that.
She does all that?
Regardless, the detectives continue to theorize that Christopher is dominant over Shelley, which may help explain something the cops discovered in the RV on the night of the incident.
Hey, sir.
What's up, bud?
Guess what we have?
Hold on. What y'all got?
Look it. Handcuffs.
Man, those look just like mine.
Handcuffs. What are the handcuffs for?
Someone gave them to me and said it's cool. I know because when I came down there, there was a password for me. The keys were in my wallet. I kept them separate. I had them locked up and things. My bags with lots of play with them, handcuff everything.
I saw it. Did he use handcuffs for anything?
Huh?
Handcuffs?
Yeah.
What did he use them for?
Put on me there.
So he was holding you there against your will. So he'd handcuff you. Would he handcuff you to anything, or would he just put you in handcuffs?
I just put them on.
Okay. And you said he would tie you up. Would he tie your legs up too?
And sometimes it depends on if he wanted to or not. It was different. You know, I can't.
spreman za izazov.
Shelley says that there were additional factors at play, and the detectives listened to one of the most bizarre stories of the night.
And then he'll be on that meth, and he'll be like, hush. And I said, it's not his fault, he's a child, he can talk. No, he can't.
He said he'll be on what?
Okay, like he'll be on the drug, the meth?
So Christopher uses meth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that often?
Well, it went to every day now. It used to be every so often, every 6 to 8 months, and now it's basically
Every day? Did you use any meth?
not willingly when he put it in me, and it was twice, and it's been recently, and he wanted me to start talking about that it was no good, it would be better for us, and then he put it in twice, pushed it.
Okay. Was it powder or a rock?
I don't know.
Do you remember what it looked like?
I know he did a card, but when he did it, he didn't do that when he did it, but I think it was hard.
It was hard when you put it in? Did it hurt?
It hurt, it burned.
Okay.
Did he ever do that with the children at all?
No, I do know. It's just me. He said it would enhance the sex.
And Shelley told us that both you and her had used methamphetamine, and that can make you act outside of your normal.
That was before all that.
Well,
Like
you
that
could do
day?
things that you forget about doing, stuff that you normally wouldn't do.
But
if
we
you
were
didn't.
doing this before this happened.
Like the day before?
Like weeks before. Like a week
Oh.
before, 3, 4. I mean, we didn't do it for 3, 4 days before that happened.
In addition to the use of illicit substances, the investigators are also concerned about the firearms in the RV, which shouldn't be there considering Christopher's background, which came up at the scene.
You got camera on you, do hunt outlaw? You don't?
Yeah, for the most part, legally. I'm a felon, I can't without a gun.
You guys have a firearm inside of the camper as well.
She has several.
But you're not allowed to have access to any firearms.
No, I don't know. That's her.
Yeah, but you still can't be in there with them.
It means that you can't have where the firearm was located at. You have easy access to, because it's in a camper.
It's in her home.
Correct, but if you were residing there, you cannot have access to that firearm. It's an open, easy access where it was found.
According to Shelley, Christopher not only had access to the firearms, he would use them.
He was holding the gun to her. That's why he saved me.
So he was holding you hostage?
He's been holding me hostage, and then he said, if you don't come back to me, if you go to your dad and then I get out, I'm coming for all of you, and I know you love your dad the most, and I'll kill him first. And it's always been a threat.
At Buc-ee's, Shelley told police that this wouldn't be the last time Christopher wielded a firearm.
He shot the gun through the camper the other day.
Really?
I don't know what he hit.
Okay.
I wanted to get away, but he takes the keys, he watches the keys and the holes in the wall. He said he hit the ground. So I seen the bullet fly was standing near.
These disturbing stories paint the picture of an erratic family life, one that Shelley has discussed in the past in text messages with Christopher's ex, Megan. After Shelley talks about the lengths she's gone through to fight some of Christopher's previous charges, Megan warns her, "Just be careful, I dealt with a hell of a lot of abuse at his hands. He's the reason I conceal carry. Do what's best for you and the kids, but always stay safe." But Shelley tells her that he has changed. With what they've seen over the last couple of days, the detectives question that conclusion.
The other boys also have bruising.
Oh, they off house play. They scratch through where a dog jumps on, where the dogs pull them down. Yeah, they're boys.
They're boys. I don't have boys, I have girls.
They're fake probably once the last year, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good. Roughhouse and jumps, literally gets up on everything, climbs the thing in the middle, swings and tries to jump into the middle of the island of the camper, falls all the time. And he's a monkey, yeah, so he's bruised up, I guarantee you.
Gets up on the counters and he falls, he hits everything, toys. The wooden thing has a nail in it where it's broke, he hits that with his legs, climbing up and down the dash constantly.
How old is he?
He is almost 2.
With that, the detectives turn their attention to something that police have questioned since the moment they arrived at Buc-ee's: the homemade cast around the 8-month-old baby's leg. Shelley insists once again that the injury was a result of her older child jumping on the baby in the playpen.
It was already wrapped. How'd that happen?
He jumped in on him is what Chris said.
Well, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
So we know the type of.
But I wasn't around for the rib or inch that. Well, I would have known. Dude, I wrapped his leg and I said, we need to take him to the doctor. His leg's hurt. It's hurt. It's just a spring, it'll heal it. But he's hurting. I didn't know about the rib. But I know about the leg because it was swell. I wanted to take it. You just know what you're always talking about. Don't you? I'm not taking him nowhere. I'm telling you his leg ain't healed. Just hush. And then he started getting mad and I just.
So
and he never went to the hospital for that ride.
For leg?
Yes, ma'am.
No, she tried to take him and Chris wouldn't let her.
I probably should have gone to the hospital now I think about it, but
According to news reports, medical experts identified the break in the baby's leg as a bucket handle fracture, an injury known to pediatric physicians as a possible sign of intentional harm.
And the way it's described to us on how you obtain this type of fracture is either a child being shook and the foot dangling at a rapid rate, or the child being upside down and then grabbing the ankle and shaking him. Do you ever play with the boys and like maybe flip them upside down, or
of course I do.
Okay.
Toss them in the air.
Has any of them or either of the younger ones ever cried when you've done that?
Maybe a couple times, and then I stopped and asked them to come to them, yeah.
This is what he tried to, the leg?
Yeah.
And that's what he tried to cast his swollen leg with?
Yeah.
And he did that himself with stuff that he bought? Where did he get that stuff from? You guys tried to treat his leg yourself, right?
Man, it's our failure. It doesn't mean we killed their sons.
I don't know why you keep saying that. Because he is not dead.
I feel like yes, because I don't know nothing about what's going on.
But I've told you multiple times that he's not dead and that they're just giving him medical
It's because
assistance.
what I thought I heard someone say yesterday to me was that they want to unplug his life support. So to me,
Who said that to you?
But while the baby's broken leg is of the utmost concern to the investigators, it's far from the only injury they observed.
Garrett just called and goes, I don't know if he got pictures or not, but he's got bruising all over his head. I said, yeah. He goes, the way they described it is it looked like somebody grabbed him by the top of the head like a claw machine.
Look at the top of that head. See the top of that head? Somebody's hitting that head. Those are not,
I know he flicks him and
Who flicks him?
Christopher.
He flicks him?
Yeah.
Like,
Stop crying.
no, how hard does he flick him?
Like, can I do it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe not. I'm not as hard as a man.
Seems kind of cruel to do that to a baby.
Yeah.
something like this, like that you get bruised on?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the child that young.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So I heard my son didn't know it.
Those potentially could be from that. They could potentially be from that.
I'd be in trouble for something like that now, probably.
The answers thus far have raised many red flags, but the most important questions, the ones about how the baby wound up in critical condition, are still to come.
So you said that he fell. Where did he fall from?
Counter to the floor.
Christopher says that after Shelley went to lie down with the other boys, he prepared to give the baby a bath in the kitchen sink.
When I get up, I go in front, smoke by the window, go back to my scratches, and the water's going to get cold and turn the paint on again. I go up there and I sit on the counter. Now the sink had stuff in it. And I said, move one stuff to one side. And I can't show you because of the cough, but imagine my one hand on his belly. He said, I had his little legs hanging. I'm holding him. I got him like this. And I'm putting out the sink, putting stuff over, And I kicked the water. So I had a couple things I was going to rinse it off and throw it in. And he jerked. And I don't know why he jerked at the time. He jerked and slipped around. I went to grab him, and when I did, I went to swoop him. I mean, I couldn't catch him. He fell in my grip. I went to swoop down to get him. And then his head hit really hard on the side. That's all I know. His head hit his neck back. And
which side do you think the head? Which side of his head do you think?
His left side. I'm pretty sure.
Left side. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, ma'am. I mean, at that time, I don't remember it too well. I mean, it happens like that. After that, it all seems like my fault. I did absolutely nothing right.
Well, so
I yelled, Shelly, get up, because she was sleeping now. I said, get up, please, somebody help me.
I think from that point, I do think that there's a lot of truth.
So Mary said, please help. She started yelling at herself. I said, don't do that. She goes, I never went to sleep. I should never went to sleep. Why, Shelly, nothing happened. It's just an accident, please. Just go get help. That's all I have to do is go get help. Please, just go get help.
But Shelley says a couple of things aroused her suspicions when she woke up and saw what was happening.
Well, I wasn't there to towel up, but when I woke up and he said that to me, I dropped him, and I was going to give him a bath. Why didn't you have the sink cleared?
Why was there a towel?
What was in the sink after you gave the other two children a bath?
Well, I gave them a bath in the tub.
Okay.
I don't know what was all in the sink, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think I always had something in it. You would have had to clear it out.
After the fall, Chris says he did everything he could to revive the baby.
This is the part that scares me the most. When I was doing CPR and I went to push, this is the goddamn truth. I plugged his nose, went to push, and air would not go backwards. His lungs would not come up. I swear to God. His lungs would not fill up. It felt like I hit a wall.
That's really common.
No, I thought that's why he jerked. He's choking. I flipped him around. Tried to do the Heimlich maneuver. Nothing came out. Nothing came out. So I went to do CPR. And when I pushed a couple more, I said, I didn't get that. So man, I just pushed a little harder. I'm not doing it hard enough. And I kept pushing it. Blood came out. Yellow stuff came out. I said, I son out.
Christopher continues to describe how he went to extraordinary lengths to provide aid to the baby.
I know when I went to put him where he fell here, it was slippery because he had all this stuff coming out. I swear when I moved him over to the carpet area, we have a pair of stairs that come up. He fell on the stairs. I picked him up. I even put him upside down, tapped on him. I want to hear him cry. Please cry. Please, I kept saying, cry, make the noise, cry. You know, like they do sounds stupid, but in the movies, they'll slam them on their bottom or their feet, make a baby cry.
Yeah.
I tried, it didn't work. He didn't cry.
Christopher gave several demonstrations of his aggressive rescue efforts at Buc-ee's as well, drawing a certain amount of skepticism from the police on scene.
He may know something about CPR, and he's using the choking thing where you strike the baby on the back as an excuse for the abuse.
In her interview, Shelley backs up Christopher's version of events.
He has some pretty bad injuries, okay? Some injuries that would indicate to us that he was either slammed on the ground or shook. Okay? And
when I walked in there, we think he called the ambulance that night. When I guy that jumped up out of bed, he was moving and shaking all over the place. I can't tell you what side to side or what way, but
he was?
Yeah, with the baby. Breathe, just going crazy.
Well, where was he at?
And all over the living room, right there where the living room is and kitchen. Please breathe, don't stop on me. And I ran out the door and called for help.
In a forensic interview, Shelley's older child said his baby brother was in the hospital because, quote, my daddy whooped him. When asked how the baby was whooped, he said that his father smacked him on the floor. Back in the interrogation room, the couple is asked again about the baby's other injuries, none of which could have been caused by even the most violent CPR attempts.
So I understand that you're saying that he fell, and I'm not questioning that. There are marks on the bottom of his feet, on the heels of his feet, and it's not a common injury. And we're trying to figure out where those came from.
We don't know.
Did you guys see them though?
Yes.
So you did know about them?
Yes.
He got in a walker and scuffed his feet and the toes, I know, about 3 weeks ago because he had a walker and he was trying to push.
So these
and her toes started bleeding, I know.
The toes,
but
we're being told that he's got some markings back here on the feet.
On the heel.
Yeah.
It would be like if he tried to do that, he would immediately stop because it would hurt too much. The way you're explaining
I know it's toes.
So we're being told it's either one of two things: a laceration where somebody hit him with something, or a burn where somebody has burned him.
Shelley can't explain the foot injuries, but Christopher is about to add another suspect to the list, his 2-year-old son.
I know a lot of it. I'm jealous of him. He will jump in his crib. He will hit him. I don't know if he has a scar right here where with a knife. Yep. Because he got him out of the crib. He'll hit the baby with lots of toys all the time. All the time. Every time we turn our back, he's in that playpen trying to take that bottle. And he bops them all the lines.
So these bruises on hands, do you see them here?
Yeah.
So where would something like that come from? These are the bruises. You see them? It looks to me like somebody squeezed his hand.
Maybe when he was squeezing him and jerking him around that night.
No, these are different stages of healing. You see, this one is black and blue. This one is red. This one is really dark. This one is more green.
I've seen these on his head, but I've never seen them on his hands.
Okay, well, let's look at his arm. Look at that bruise.
That's because he was always in a onesie, too, though, and Trina had him.
Long sleeve onesie?
Yeah, covered the feet and hands for a while. He wouldn't let him wear nothing else.
But the excuses are doing little to further the case for innocence, particularly since this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
We lost our other son. We was at my dad's house.
Mm-hmm.
And we woke up.
You lost your other son?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
He was 2019, I think, yeah.
According to a 2019 report from the Sheriff's Office in Brantley County, Georgia, EMTs arrived at the house of Daryl Brooks, Shelley's father, in response to a call about an infant not breathing. Shelley told police that she'd breastfed her newborn baby before falling asleep with the baby and Christopher in the bed next to her. Police note that the nearby crib was occupied by a machete and a baseball bat. Christopher woke up later to find the baby unresponsive and called 911. At the hospital, the doctor determined that the child had been injured while feeding, appearing to have suffocated on his mother's breast.
Ultimately, what happened when Dakota passed away?
What do you mean?
What did they do for you guys? Did they say, hey, this is where we're at? What happened? Did you have to make a choice to say?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
He told me it would be 30 minutes that he would be breathing for it. Let him go because there was no oxygen or whatever. Everything was gone or something like that.
So
basically, they told me it was it would be better to let him go. And then it took me a while to make that choice. When I did, he lasted for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Though Shelley's parents suspect that Christopher killed the baby in 2019, neither he nor Shelley faced any charges, and it was ruled a case of sudden infant death syndrome, according to Shelley. While the detectives can't dismiss that piece of dark history, everyone's primary concern is with the baby currently in the hospital.
What's going on with my baby?
Well,
honestly, what is really happening with my baby?
Like we said, he has the fractures, the healing fractures. He is being assisted with medical assists where they have him, helping him breathe, making sure that
he... Is there a chance that he can pull through?
I don't know. They didn't tell us that. He's not in the best condition. I'll tell you that. He could be in a better condition.
Could he make it out? Could he be able to live this earth with us?
I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you that. I don't know that answer.
The detective makes it clear, though, that Shelley will have to separate herself from Christopher.
Coming to an end, separating from him, this is going to be the hardest thing you ever do.
I know, it's been really hard. I wanted to do it so bad before now, even last time. I'm not going back. I'll right back.
You got to just be strong for yourself. And when you're not strong enough for yourself, be strong for your kids, okay?
And Christopher, meanwhile, prepares for the worst.
If he was to die, it's going to hurt twice. I lose my son. I lose my freedom.
Sadly, on February 4th, 2022, 8-month-old Cody Palmer is pronounced dead at the hospital at 4:46 a.m., 5 days after the incident in the RV. The coroner rules his death to be caused by a traumatic brain injury. The tragic outcome is undoubtedly the last result anyone wanted, including the officers who responded that first night, who were already struggling with the horrors they'd seen.
I know you got small kids. Are you okay with this?
I mean, I won't lie. Like, I teared up a second. Like, it hurts, man.
I know. Me too.
So.
Me too. Turner's got a baby at the house, man. We're gonna talk. All of us are gonna talk.
Yes, sir.
All of us are gonna talk. But yeah, this is why we do what we do right here. Evil exists, and our job is to make sure we get it under control. And so, we can't do anything to stop what's happened to baby boy, but we can stop what's happening to everybody else involved.
According to news reports, the couple's older 2 children were placed in foster care, where they remain together.
I've been around kids my whole life. I've never a kid. I've always loved my children and other children. Well, I wasn't even a party. I would watch everybody else's kids.
We think that we know that you love your babies, and I think that the hardest part is the fear that you had in this domestic situation prevented you from doing what mothers need to do, and that is protect our babies, right?
It did, but you don't have to be hurried if I would have went back. I went to shelter. I never did that. I put me and them kids through a lot to have a home, even though it wasn't denied. And I gave it all up to go back.
Well, you know what? Let's look forward from here. What can we do to help you? What can we do that's best for all of the children?
Even my family said on that phone, I told you not to go back. I told you.
On the night of Shelley's arrest, Detective Richards echoed the sentiment without mincing words.
Do or die.
Yeah.
You either save your kids or die trying.
Exactly.
So, it is what it is.
Shelley Rooks was booked on first-degree cruelty to children, felony aggravated assault, and second-degree murder. According to news reports, however, she was deemed incompetent to stand trial and is unlikely to face prosecution in Cody's death.
I've never seen nobody as violent as Chris.
You've never?
Never. I've always had good people around me better than my daddy got angry and stuff.
Not like this.
Not like this. This was a monster.
It takes a village, but it takes a good village.
You guys were strong enough to go through it once. I believe that God doesn't give you more than what you can handle, right?
Twice. And be in prison.
Christopher Palmer was booked on first-degree cruelty to children, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, felony murder, and malice murder. According to news accounts, the jury deliberated for only an hour and a half before convicting him in November 2024 of those charges, in addition to malice murder. Reports say he was sentenced to life in prison plus 10 years, with no possibility of parole. If you'd like to see select new videos early and help us keep uncovering case files that rarely come to light, you'll find extra footage and unseen details on our Patreon. Channel memberships here on YouTube also include early access to select new videos.
There are moments in history that seem like they're read out of fiction. Moments where decisions came down to the last minute or even the last second, forever altering the events afterward. So in this video, we're going to look at 2 submarine incidents like this at the height of possibly the most tense and consequential moment in global history. One of them just happens to be one of the most brutal and grueling things ever covered on the channel. As always, viewer discretion is strongly advised. In October of 1986, 600 miles off the coast of Bermuda, the Soviet submarine, the K-219, moved through the depths of the Atlantic, armed for the end of the world. Beneath the ocean's surface, the ship carried a terrifying set of weapons. 16 ballistic missiles, each capable of leveling an entire city. And in total, the K-219 carried about 30 nuclear warheads, more than enough to incinerate a continent if the order ever came. On the radar though, the K-219 was just another vessel on routine patrol, but in reality it was in one of the most sensitive regions of the Cold War, close enough to strike the eastern coast of the United States within minutes, if necessary. At the time, its mission was to conduct internal drills, maintain readiness, and silently remind the Americans that if anything changed, they were equally prepared. At the time as well, the Soviet Union was standing on a razor's edge. Only 6 months earlier, the world watched in horror as the Chernobyl nuclear power plant sent radioactive fire into the sky. The incident embarrassed the Kremlin and enraged its people, and now Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev was preparing for a summit with US President Ronald Reagan in Reykjavik. At the summit, nuclear arms were planned to be discussed, and tensions were thin, so it's no exaggeration to say that this was a high-stakes moment in the Cold War. Now, as is sort of a pattern of the sub-stories on the channel, the K-219 was a relic of a rapidly aging fleet. In wartime, the technology just seems to progress so rapidly that by the time something was in operation, it was already out of date. The K-219 was a Project 667A Yankee-class boat which was considered to be a workhorse of the Soviet Navy's ballistic missile division. It had been pushed hard over the years, and maintenance had begun to lag. Its crew was also a thrown-together group of young sailors and veterans who barely had time to gel before being sent out on this dangerous mission. Worse still, the sub already bore scars from the past. One of its missile tubes had to be welded shut after a prior chemical incident had nearly gone catastrophically wrong. Still though, the K-219 cruised forward. Inside the control room, Captain 2nd Rank Igor Britanov stood watch. He had been commanding the vessel for 2 years, but even he couldn't have predicted what was coming. Something was brewing deep inside the K-219. On October 3rd, as the sub continued its patrol in the Atlantic, a sudden jolt went through the vessel. The Soviet crew actually first suspected a collision and believed that the Americans were tailing them, specifically a US Navy attack submarine known as the USS Augusta. The Soviets claimed the Augusta had clipped the K-219's hull, possibly damaging its missile tubes. The US Navy, of course, denied everything, and to this day, both sides maintain different truths. But whether it was a bump in the dark or simple bad luck, what happened next was far more catastrophic. At 5:14 a.m. in one of the missile compartments, an officer and an engineer spotted something no one inside a submarine ever wants to see, which was water. Just a few drops at first, seeping from the plug of missile tube number 6 on the port side. Igor was immediately alerted, and at 5:25 a.m. he ordered the sub to ascend to a safer depth around 151 feet or 46 meters. Pumps were then engaged to dry out the missile tube and stop the leak, but it was already too late. The moment seawater met the volatile mix of missile fuel, it triggered a chemical reaction. Brown clouds of nitrogen dioxide and chlorine gas then began hissing out from under the missile plug. The compartment then immediately reeked of burning chemicals, and the deadly mist filled the air. Several minutes later at 5:32 a.m., just as an officer called for an accident alert and ordered the compartment sealed, the silo exploded. The force of the blast was enormous, and the missile, which was fully armed, was ejected straight out of the submarine while it was still underwater. Water then flooded the missile compartment instantly, killing 2 sailors on the spot. The shockwave also tore through the hull, and the K-219 began dropping like a stone. From a cruising depth of around 131 feet or 40 meters, the submarine plunged past 985 feet or 300 meters in minutes. Communications were also crippled, the sub's loudspeakers were dead, and compartment after compartment began sealing off in the panic. At one point, up to 25 sailors were trapped in one section begging for help. It was only after desperate deliberation that Igor gave the order to open the hatch and let them out. Meanwhile, as this was going on, water and corrosive gas continued to spread. Igor then ordered every seawater pump aboard to full capacity, and damage control teams worked by flashlight with gas masks, sealing more compartments to isolate the flooding. Miraculously, somehow the crew managed to stop the descent and bring the sub back to the surface on battery power. It then broke the waves, battered and badly smoking. There was a new and much more serious problem though. In theory, the submarine's 2 nuclear reactors should have automatically shut down the moment the explosion struck. But the blast had damaged key control lines, and down in the belly of the ship, coolant levels were dropping and the reactor temperature was climbing. The automatic systems had failed, so if the crew couldn't do it manually, nothing stood between them and a full nuclear meltdown. Reactor control officer Nikolai Belikov and Sergei Preminin then rushed to do what the automatic systems could not, which was to manually insert the control rods to shut down the reactor. This required them to enter the 7th compartment where the reactor was located, which by then had become a hellish environment. The temperature inside is believed to have climbed to as high as 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, and the air was thick with choking acid fumes and near zero visibility. In fact, due to the proximity to the reactor, the fumes are far worse than elsewhere in the sub. Nikolai would then enter first and manage to turn one of the 4 rod assemblies on the first reactor before he would run out of oxygen and die. So with Nikolai dead inside the reactor compartment and the other control rods still unseated, there was no other choice. The 20-year-old Sergei didn't hesitate to step forward and volunteer to finish the job alone. He then opened the compartment hatch and entered what was essentially a nuclear oven. Inside compartment 7, every breath must have tasted like acid. The metal components had begun to warp and swell from the heat, and his uniform was useless against it all. He knew this, but he went anyway. Struggling through the smoke, Sergei reached the 4th control rod and tried to drive it into place, but it wouldn't budge. The rod's casing had deformed under the heat and the guide rail was warped. He wrestled with it, but the resistance was just too much. Then, feeling like he too was about to succumb to the conditions inside the room, he rushed back out for a moment before rushing back inside to try again. On his second attempt, with his muscles straining, his lungs burning, and his vision fading, he forced the rod into position and it clicked. With that, the reactor shut down. There would be no second Chernobyl, nor would there be a radioactive cloud spreading across the Atlantic. The shutdown eliminated the risk of another explosion that could have triggered international panic and possibly war. Sergei had saved not just his crewmates, but possibly millions of lives. With his deadly mission complete, he turned to escape the compartment, and when he reached the hatch, he discovered that it wouldn't open. The gas and heat caused by the near meltdown had warped the pressure between compartments, and the hatch sealed shut like a vacuum lock, sealing him inside. His crewmates tried to force it open from the other side, but the pressure imbalance was too strong. Nothing worked. Sergei was trapped. Crew members called him and pounded on the door, but inside it was growing hotter by the second, and deadly gases were rapidly replacing all the available oxygen. Somewhere in the swirling darkness of compartment 7, Sergei quietly collapsed and died in the chamber. With the reactor finally silenced, thanks to Sergei's bravery, the worst-case scenario had been averted. But the K-219 was still bleeding from every physical, chemical, and structural wound it had suffered. Corrosive gas was chewing through the pipes and electrical systems, and the submarine's ventilation system was compromised. Crew members trapped in the bow and stern could no longer coordinate. Radiation levels in the missile compartments were off the charts, and with each passing hour, more gas was spreading through the sub's narrow corridors. The explosion had also robbed the vessel of its propulsion system, leaving it stranded on the surface and running on battery power alone. But over the next few hours, the crew worked to do damage control where they could and move into compartments that were the safest to wait at a rescue. At some point during this, communications were partially restored, and Igor managed to get a signal out to the Soviet fleet. A nearby merchant vessel was then dispatched to assist, and the new plan was to tow the K-219 the 4,300 miles or 7,000 kilometers back to its home port in the Barents Sea. As the merchant ship attached cables and began the slow pull north, though, it was immediately clear that it might not make it. Poisonous fumes continued to leak, compartments buckled under pressure, and at one point a fresh rupture in the rear compartment caused toxic gas to surge into the aft sections, contaminating even more of the sub. The crew had to retreat again, packed into the few areas that hadn't been overtaken yet. And incredibly, in the midst of this, Igor was actually ordered to hold position. Command in Moscow wasn't happy. They wanted the sub repaired, the patrol resumed, and the mission salvaged. They even dispatched the K-219's political officer to assume command if necessary and force the crew to remain aboard the crippled vessel. Igor, meanwhile, knew that this was a death sentence. As conditions worsened, he made a decision he wasn't authorized to make. He ordered the crew to abandon ship. The Soviet sailors then climbed aboard the merchant ship, shaken, coughing, and many still wearing gas masks. Igor was the last to leave the sub. He stood alone on its scorched deck until it was clear that nothing else could be done. Moments after he stepped off of the K-219, the tow cable snapped and water surged into the submarine. The K-219 then gave up the fight and slipped beneath the waves for the final time, sinking to the bottom of the Hatteras abyssal plain, 18,000 feet or 5,486 meters, and taking with it 2 nuclear reactors and 30 nuclear warheads. Back in Moscow, the sinking was a political nightmare. Soviet President Gorbachev was already walking on a tightrope, as just 6 months earlier his handling of Chernobyl had shaken the Soviet Union's credibility. The global outcry, the internal humiliation, and the environmental devastation was still very raw, and now, in the lead-up to a crucial arms control summit with the US president, another nuclear catastrophe had occurred. Gorbachev's primary concern was the optics of the situation. He didn't want a scandal before the Reykjavik summit, so he did the opposite of what he did in the aftermath of the Chernobyl meltdown. He came clean. Gorbachev then contacted Reagan to inform him of the disaster, and Reagan responded by offering any help the United States could provide. Considering the denials and mishandling of Chernobyl, this did little to repair the relationship between the two countries, but it was a step in the right direction. Meanwhile, inside the Soviet Union, Gorbachev rushed to place the blame, and it landed mostly on Igor. For all intents and purposes, he was thrown under the bureaucratic bus, charged with negligence, sabotage, and treason. Luckily, though, all charges against him were dropped in 1987. In the aftermath as well, the upper brass scrambled to explain what happened. A recon team that had been sent to inspect the sub while it was still being towed uncovered gas leaks in multiple compartments, corrosion eating through systems, electrical shorts, and reactor cooling issues that could have turned catastrophic. According to the findings, the crew had made a fatal miscalculation by activating the water pump in the leaking missile tube before confirming the electrical status, and this caused a short circuit that likely triggered the explosion. At least, that is what is said to have happened. As with many things from that part of the world, it's not entirely clear if this is actually the case or if this is simply the official story. Whatever the case, since the K-219 sank with its full complement of warheads, there are now plutonium-laced missiles lying at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. As for Sergei, he was awarded the title of Hero of the Russian Federation in an official capacity. Unofficially, he's known as the hero who prevented a second Chernobyl. Before dawn on October 1st, 1962, 4 Soviet Union submarines slipped out of Seda Bay right along the Kola Peninsula. One by one, at 30-minute intervals, their diesel engines turned on and the ships moved into the black Arctic waters. Among these were a B-36, a B-130, a B-4, and a B-59 sub, and their mission was the furthest thing from a routine patrol. Instead, their departure was part of a Soviet shadow operation codenamed Anadyr, and only a select few on the entire planet knew that what could occur in the next few weeks could potentially bring about the complete end of humankind. Stacked within the bell of each boat were torpedoes, and among them was one tipped with something catastrophic. In the forward compartment of the B-59 was a T-5 nuclear torpedo with a 10-kiloton warhead, roughly the size of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima during World War II. The submarines were planned to reach Mariel, Cuba, and establish a Soviet naval presence strong enough to anchor Moscow's rapidly escalating support of Cuban President Fidel Castro. But even most of the Soviet commanders were not aware of the full scope of the mission. True to Soviet doctrine, Operation Anadyr had been cloaked in deception, and even many of the ship captains were told half-truths or nothing at all. The real purpose of the mission was to place the United States within easy striking range of nuclear annihilation, while also preparing to repel any American invasion of Cuba, and the B-59 was the most crucial piece. As the last traces of the Soviet coastline slipped from view and the B-59 disappeared into the ocean, its crew had no idea they were sailing right into the Cold War's most dangerous moment. Above the surface, the war was reaching a boiling point. Just weeks after the B-59 and its sister subs slipped into the Atlantic, an American U-2 reconnaissance plane flew a routine surveillance run over Cuba, and what it captured was jarring to President John F. Kennedy's administration. There were rows of long, unmistakable launch pads under construction, and military analysts quickly confirmed they were Soviet missile installations, less than 100 miles from the Florida coast. Panic then immediately set in behind closed doors in Washington. The Soviets weren't stockpiling defensive weapons in Cuba. These were medium and intermediate-range ballistic missiles capable of vaporizing American cities within minutes of launch, and these were being built in secret right under the nose of the world's most powerful military. Kennedy then addressed the nation on October 22nd. He didn't use the word blockade, which might imply an act of war under international law, but he did call his next move a quarantine. American naval ships were then immediately dispatched to encircle the island in order to intercept any Soviet vessel carrying weapons. Kennedy also demanded that the missiles be dismantled and removed, but Soviet President Nikita Khrushchev naturally saw things differently. The Soviet leader denounced the quarantine as piracy and promised that ships would continue their journeys to Cuba. And so began 13 days of an excruciating standoff. 2 superpowers eyeing each other through crosshairs, fingers twitching above the big red button, daring each other to make the first move. This period would later become known as the Cuban Missile Crisis, but while American jets flew over the Caribbean and generals mapped out strike plans, below the surface, something else was happening. Deep beneath the ocean, the small fleet of Soviet subs that left at the beginning of the month were inching their way toward Cuba and mostly undetected. Their mission had also been carefully timed with missile deliveries. The Americans didn't know yet that the Soviet Union had actually moved 40,000 combat troops into Cuba, or that tactical nuclear weapons were already stationed there under Cuban soil. Operation Anadyr had worked brilliantly and terrifyingly well. Even as American destroyers circled the island, they had no idea how many enemies were hidden just below the surface. Around this same time, in the sea just east of Cuba, the B-59 and its sister submarines arrived with orders to maintain radio silence, but almost immediately everything started going wrong. These Foxtrot-class submarines designed for Arctic waters were unfit for the blistering Caribbean, and mechanical problems began piling up. The B-130's 3 diesel engines would end up giving out completely, forcing the sub to surface in open ocean. This was exactly the kind of spectacle the Soviet Navy had wanted to avoid. And this visual sighting alone kicked the US Navy into high gear. Suddenly, the Americans realized they weren't just dealing with surface ships hauling missiles. American aircraft carriers Essex, Randolph, and Wasp then launched wave after wave of anti-submarine aircraft, and destroyers fanned out across the ocean. More than 200 US combat ships, 4 carrier groups, and nearly 200 aircraft were now committed to the hunt. This was the largest anti-submarine effort the US Navy had ever launched in peacetime. The Soviets, meanwhile, were being systematically cornered. Every submarine in the group was suffering. The B-4's deck hatch had been bent and was leaking, the B-36 had a broken decoy ejector, the B-130 was essentially dead in the water, and the B-59 wasn't immune from trouble either. It was quite literally a hot mess beneath the ocean. The ship's cooling system had been contaminated by salt water, seals were leaking, and its electric air compressors had failed. As a result, inside the ship, it was hellish. A submarine is a tight squeeze under the best conditions. Add in broken ventilation, 9 extra men from a radio intercept unit, and a tropical sea, and you get basically a sweating steel coffin. By October 27th, the B-59 had been submerged for days, hiding from American sonar, starved of oxygen, and low on battery. Radio silence also meant they hadn't received orders or updates from Moscow in more than 72 hours. The only thing they'd managed to pick up before going quiet was President Kennedy's voice over civilian radio stations, and he was warning of the possibility of thermonuclear war. No one aboard knew whether or not the war had actually already begun. In addition, when a US Navy aircraft finally detected the B-59 beneath the surface in the early hours of that Saturday, the Americans didn't hesitate. They started dropping depth charges, not to destroy but to signal the ship to the surface. The problem was, the B-59 didn't know that. The signal wasn't getting through as intended. Instead, to the men aboard, it felt like they were under attack. With temperatures inside the submarine soaring to above 113 degrees Fahrenheit or 45 degrees Celsius, oxygen dwindling, trench foot setting in, and the battery power almost gone, the psychological pressure was crushing. And then came a louder explosion, one that rocked the boat harder than any before, and at that moment, the line between signal to surface and outright aggression shattered. The B-59 captain Valentin Savitsky had had enough. He stood sweat-drenched and furious, and he gave the order to ready the nuclear torpedo. This began what would become known as Black Saturday. On land, the situation was also rapidly spinning toward chaos. US bombers loaded with nuclear payloads were placed on standby, and Strategic Air Command readied thousands of nuclear warheads aimed at Soviet targets. Meanwhile, under the ocean, the B-59 was reaching its own breaking point. Depth charges were still slamming into the water around the sub for hours. From the perspective of the US, this was all by the book. Standard issue, low-charge grenades meant to tell the sub to rise to the surface. Valentin's perspective, though, was much different. There were 14 US warships surrounding the sub. Planes flew overhead, blinding lights flashed in the water. The submarine was suffocating with no fresh air, nearly no diesel power left, and barely an hour of battery life remaining. Temperatures inside the engine room reached 149 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 Celsius, and the crewmen were collapsing at their stations. To Valentin, there was only one logical conclusion to make of this chaos: a full-scale nuclear war had already begun. After he gave the order to ready the nuclear torpedo, he assured the crew that they would all die, but they'd take as many Americans with them as they could. There was simply no way he was going to disgrace the Soviet Navy by surrendering. Before he could initiate that, though, there was just one last step. Soviet protocol aboard the B-59 required that 3 men, all senior officers, agree before launching a nuclear weapon. Valentin was more than ready, and so was the political officer Ivan. That left one man, a quiet, serious officer with a haunted look on his face. His name was Vasily Arkhipov. In the sweat-soaked, oxygen-starved command center of the B-59, Vasily stood at a crossroads most people could never comprehend. And strangely, he had been in a somewhat comparable situation just a year earlier when he'd been aboard the K-19. That sub suffered a catastrophic reactor leak, and the incident nearly ended in a nuclear meltdown. Vasily had survived it, but not unscathed. Many of his shipmates died from radiation exposure from that crisis within a month of it occurring, so Vasily was intimately familiar with this kind of pressure. And not only was Vasily a senior officer aboard the B-59, he was also the most senior officer across all 4 submarines in the detachment. This meant that his consent was not optional, it was required. On the 3 other subs, a 2-man approval would have been enough, but on the B-59 at the edge of annihilation, Vasily had the last say. What followed wasn't exactly a calm discussion. It was a raw, heated, and desperate argument. The air stank of diesel and sweat, men were still fainting from heat exhaustion, lights flickered, and amidst it all, Vasily raised his voice not in panic, but in reason. He argued that a war hadn't started. He believed that if the US really meant to destroy them, they already would have. The Americans had numbers, firepower, and air superiority. The relentless depth charging wasn't an attack in his mind, so he proposed something radical: send out a sonar ping, one loud signal to see what came back. Valentin, still fuming but listening to reason, agreed. The ping then ran out throughout the ocean and the crew braced for retaliation, but nothing came. And suddenly, there were no grenades or blasts, just silence. Sonar swept through the area and 3 American destroyers, which had been aggressively pursuing the B-59, had come to a full stop. It seemed Vasily's gamble had worked. He turned to Valentin and told him plainly that launching the torpedo would ignite global war, and there would be no coming back from it. Millions, possibly hundreds of millions, would die. In response, slowly and reluctantly, the captain gave the order to stand down. The nuclear torpedo was not launched, and the world, completely oblivious to how close it had come to its end, was spared. Late on the evening of October 27th, after nearly a full day of being hunted, suffocated, and shaken, the men aboard the B-59 finally broke the surface. The ocean around them then erupted into chaos as blinding searchlights from the USS Coney flooded the submarine's conning tower. Helicopters buzzed overhead and American destroyers circled. Aircraft from the Randolph dropped phosphorus markers, igniting midair in bursts of 50 million candle-power light. The Americans, it seemed, were putting on a show, one meant to intimidate, overwhelm, and maybe even humiliate. Valentin then sent a message to the American ships, quote, "This ship belongs to the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Halt your provocative actions." There was then a pause, and then remarkably, a response came in the form of an apology from the US. The Americans also didn't board the submarine or force the crew to disarm. They simply monitored the B-59 as it waited in the water when orders finally came in from Moscow for the sub to return home. In response, the crew didn't celebrate and there was no cheering or relief, just exhaustion, and with that, the B-59 quietly slipped away from the American ships, back into the Atlantic and turned toward home. Back on land, both superpowers took a long, hard look at what had just happened. Secret negotiations then accelerated, and by the week's end, President Khrushchev agreed to remove Soviet missiles from Cuba. Then, quietly in a separate deal, President Kennedy agreed to pull American missiles from Turkey. And so, the Cuban Missile Crisis was over, but no one understood just how close the world had truly come to catastrophe. For decades, the story of the B-59 was kept covered up. The B-59 returned to the Soviet Union under a veil of secrecy, and there were no medals or heroes welcome. In fact, it was quite the opposite. One Soviet admiral, after being briefed on the sub's encounter, reportedly told the crew that it would have been better if they had gone down with their ship. The political elite didn't want to hear about heat stroke or the nuclear torpedo that came within moments of being fired. They wanted clean narratives, and what happened aboard the B-59 didn't fit, so the world remained blissfully unaware of how close it had come to being destroyed. As for Vasily, who returned to duty with no awards or promotions tied to his actions that day, he continued to serve quietly, eventually becoming the head of the Kirov Naval Academy and retiring as Vice Admiral. The world had no idea that a soft-spoken, unassuming man from a peasant family near Moscow had stood alone in a boiling tin can under the Atlantic and said no to the end of civilization. It wasn't until the early 2000s that the full story began to surface. In 2002, at the 40th anniversary conference of the Cuban Missile Crisis held in Havana, American and Russian officials began comparing notes, and that's when the truth came out. Robert McNamara, Kennedy's Secretary of Defense during the crisis, was floored. He admitted openly that nuclear war had come far closer than anyone had imagined. The Americans had no idea that the B-59 was carrying a nuclear torpedo. Historian Arthur M. Schlesinger Jr., who had served in the Kennedy administration, called it, quote, "Not only the most dangerous moment of the Cold War, it was the most dangerous moment in human history." Meanwhile, the director of the National Security Archive, Thomas Bland, put it simply, Vasily, quote, "saved the world." In 2017, nearly 2 decades after his death from kidney cancer, likely a consequence of his earlier radiation exposure aboard the doomed K-19, Vasily was finally honored. The Future of Life Institute awarded him the first ever Future of Life Award, given to individuals who often, without recognition or reward, made choices that protected humanity's future. His wife, Olga, accepted the award on his behalf. She had always known the kind of man he was, calm, rational, and humble to a fault. Vasily was the kind of man who carried the weight of history on his shoulders and never once bragged about it. For him, it was never about glory. It was about doing the right thing. And because of that, we're all still here. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you have a story suggestion, feel free to submit it to the forum found in the description. Also, if you want to support the channel, consider joining the Patreon or becoming a channel member here on YouTube. Anyways, thanks again, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.
Feel the care. Sonicare. Potraži na Philips online shopu.
This is Kazinet. It's just a tiny collection of houses in a single railroad in the middle of the Siberian taiga. On the night of August 14th, 1989, a regularly scheduled train came through this cold, lonely stretch of woods until approaching something up ahead on the tracks. At first, the train conductors couldn't tell what they were looking at, but when they could, the discovery would be one of the most gruesome and horrifying mysteries in modern Russian history. As always, although the events in this video are fleeting and non-descriptive, they are still highly disturbing, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. The village of Kazinet in Russia is the kind of place that doesn't show up on most maps. It's tucked deep within the Siberian taiga, surrounded by an endless sprawl of pine and birch trees, and it's actually less of a village and more of a scattering of houses along a lonely stretch of railroad tracks. And with a population of about 24 people, there are no shops, signs, or proper roads, just train tracks, a few homes housing railway workers and their families, and a few dirt roads that seem to lead into the forest to nowhere. And given its location in August, the nights here are deceptively cold. Summer days can turn to sudden frost, and the sun vanishes quickly. By midnight, the landscape is swallowed by the kind of darkness that makes you feel like you're being watched. It was in this silence at precisely 1:40 in the morning on August 14th, 1989, that freight train number 2008 rumbled its way toward the Kazinet station. This train was massive, 70 cars long, hauled by a heavy locomotive and helmed by two experienced railroaders, brothers Vadim and Igor Supernenko. They'd passed through Kazinet countless times before, but this time was different. As the train approached the station, the brothers noticed something on the tracks ahead. Whatever it was difficult to make out in the sweep of the headlights initially, but Vadim sounded the horn, and at the same time he slammed on the emergency brakes. Unfortunately, a fully loaded freight train doesn't exactly stop on a dime, so despite the brothers' best efforts, they couldn't stop before they heard and felt the inevitable crunch beneath the steel wheels of the train. When it finally came to a stop, the brothers climbed down with their lanterns and started walking along the rails. They were used to wildlife near the tracks and even debris or the odd fallen branch, but this obstruction seemed completely out of the ordinary. And what they would eventually find would scar them for life. There, spread across the tracks, were the torn remnants of 7 people, although they might not have known quite how many people there were at the time. What was clear was that there was no movement or signs of life at all, and it didn't take much more than a momentary glance to determine that. The Supernenko brothers stood over the wreckage of what had once been a group of boys and realized they'd just become the unwilling participants of something horrific, something that couldn't possibly be explained by a simple accident. As soon as the dispatcher was alerted, the police from the nearby much larger Abakan station were sent to the scene. Floodlights arrived afterward, villagers were woken up to assist, and the grim task of retrieving the many parts began. Soon their names came in one by one, each one being realized to have come from the small community of Mesterchansk. Dmitry, Nikolai, Vadim, Oleg, Vyacheslav, Roman, and Victor, all of them just 15-year-old friends. They were a tight-knit group of boys who played soccer together, attended school together, helped their parents, and they'd apparently gone on a simple weekend trip to collect cedar cones in the forest. Frustratingly though, according to investigators, this was nothing more than a tragic accident. The boys had ventured into the taiga on August 12th and by the following night intended to return home on the 10:39 p.m. train. Something, however, had obviously gone terribly wrong. Maybe they lost track of time, or maybe they got turned around the woods. Whatever the reason, they apparently missed their train, and according to the initial report, they allegedly lay down to rest on the railway tracks. Even more strangely, their backpacks were found later lined up about 820 feet or 250 meters away. That detail would be the thing that made headlines, 7 bags placed in a row near the tracks as if part of some kind of ritual or pact. And the implication was haunting, and reporters didn't hesitate to spin it as a possible agreement between the boys to end things. The idea was put forth that maybe it was deliberate. To the parents, however, this made no sense. These weren't reckless, troubled kids. They'd experienced in the wilderness, they weren't known to drink, and the toxicology report proved it as no alcohol was found in any of their systems. They were all well fed, healthy, sharp, and cared for. The idea that they decided to end things or nap on top of the rails was beyond absurd. Like, for example, if that was somehow the case, how had none of them moved when the train approached? How did they not wake up? Even the Supernenko brothers testified that they weren't walking the tracks, they were lying on them motionless as if placed there. Still, officials pushed the narrative that this was just a tragic, horrific accident. The boys were said to have been exhausted and had made a terrible mistake as a result, and the case was closed. But the parents obviously wouldn't let it go. Something more sinister was at play, they were sure of it. Unfortunately, they had no proof, no support, and no leverage, but they did have grief, which was further sharpened by what they viewed as an indescribable injustice. In the meantime, the people of Mezdorchensk buried their sons in stunned silence, but this didn't last long. Soon, whispers became suspicions, and suspicions grew into fury. None of the families could accept the story they were being fed, and for 2 long years afterward, they pleaded with the local officials to reopen the case, only to have doors repeatedly slammed in their faces. Phone calls were also ignored, and paperwork was somehow lost. It was clear that authorities had no interest in revisiting the tragedy, especially when it meant admitting the original investigation not just been flawed, but possibly corrupt. In the face of this, the families went over their heads in the biggest way they possibly could. In the fall of 1991, they penned a desperate letter directly to Russian President Boris Yeltsin, appealing him to order the investigation to be re-examined. At the time, though, the Soviet Union was crumbling, and the country was spiraling into chaos. The chances were slim that anyone would even read the letter, let alone act on it, but by some twist of fate, the letter found its way into the right hands, and against all odds, it worked. On October 8, 1991, the Prosecutor General's office officially reopened the investigation into the Kazinet deaths. 2 new names were then assigned to the case: Vladimir Guzenkov, an investigator for especially important cases, and criminal prosecutor Yuri Stolyarov. And thankfully, these weren't small-time paper pushers. They were serious men pulled from Moscow to handle difficult cases, and they got to work immediately. They arrived in Kazinet sometime afterward to find that the scene was long erased by time that had passed since the initial discovery. Rain, snow, and rot had stripped away nearly every trace of evidence. They also found that what little had existed back in 1989 had been mishandled by police or outright ignored. Vladimir then began by knocking on every door, interviewing every local, and pressing for details again and again. What he found, strangely enough, was a wall of silence. The villagers, nearly all of them related to one another, claimed to know nothing. They all said they'd been asleep at the time the train rolled over the Seven. As he continued to press, though, Vladimir kept hearing the name Vasily, who was a local man serving time for killing his own brother Slava. The murder seemed like just another drunken brawl, but in light of the new investigation, it now looked different. Especially when Vladimir learned that Slava may have let it slip while intoxicated about what really happened to the Seven at Kazinet. Upon learning this, he went to the prison, and over multiple visits, he chipped away at Vasily. At first, the story was muddled and it shifted, and then a confession emerged. It was partial and reluctant, but it was enough to really begin to push. Vasily then let slip that he and one of his other brothers, Yuri, had been involved, and just like that, everything the authorities had insisted wasn't true came crashing down. The deeper Vladimir dug, though, the clearer it became that Vasily's story just wasn't lining up. It still seemed he was being deceptive. Vladimir then requested that the families allow him to exhume the bodies. It was a dark undertaking, but when the caskets were opened and forensics experts took a second look, what they found changed the narrative forever. The Seven, as had been suspected, had not been killed by the train. Instead, it was determined that they'd been attacked savagely and methodically. And the injuries were chilling in their consistency: fractures to skulls, jaws shattered on both sides, and trauma to the chest and abdomen. Each of the Seven bore the unmistakable signs of blunt objects. Experts also ran tests using biomannequins trying to replicate the wounds, and found a match only when they used the exact tools found in railway depots. It was clear this was no accident, and now there was physical evidence to actually prove it, or at least investigators willing to not look the other way. The Supernenko brothers would then back that up with their testimony. According to the two train drivers, when they realized what was on the tracks and saw them in the train's headlights moments before, they weren't scattered chaotically. They were lined up and arranged, placed on the rails exactly where the train would ensure an unrecognizable end. This also aligned with the state of the backpacks, the complete lack of alcohol or drugs in the victim's systems, and the absence of panic injuries. Vladimir's new working theory was that they were ambushed, attacked, and then laid across the tracks. With that, the case file was now a murder investigation, and one with more questions than answers, because while Vasily had started talking, what he said still didn't make sense. His claim that he and a brother had done this to all 7 seemed unlikely. The boys were athletic and healthy, the brothers, meanwhile, were thin and sickly. How could these 2 men overpower 7 healthy individuals without one of them getting away? This is when the story changed again. Vasily claimed that there had been a third attacker, Slava, the brother that he had later killed. Vasily claimed that Slava had been the one to land the fatal blows, which was convenient since Slava was already gone and couldn't contradict anything. Still, Vladimir pressed on. He had a hunch this wasn't just a family affair, and then he managed to get another slip from Vasily. During a separate interrogation, Vasily blurted out a new name, Nikolai. This wasn't the name of just some villager, it was that of a senior police lieutenant from the nearby village who was in Kazinet that weekend visiting relatives. He was also a man of authority and power. When Vladimir caught up with Nikolai, Nikolai claimed that he had left the village well before the incident, and this seemed like an ironclad alibi until the locals contradicted him. Nikolai had been there at the time of the incident after all. Witnesses claimed to have seen him drinking with the brothers and a local foreman of the track crew. They were all together that night and they were consuming heavily, apparently liters of homebrew. Eventually, through more conversation, another name surfaced. A man named Pyotr, who was the foreman's brother, but Pyotr wouldn't be talking to Vladimir. It's not that he refused, it's that he was dead, having apparently ended things not long after the investigation reopened. At this point, things were coming together to form a disturbing picture. Then, during one particularly grueling round of questioning, the local foreman broke. He'd had enough of the constant questions and guilt, so he agreed to tell Vladimir everything he wanted to know. He would then name names, he described the night, he spoke about the drinking, the confrontation, and the weapons. And then came the final revolting truth of what really happened to the 7 in 1989. 2 years prior, the sun dipped below the dense canopy of the taiga, and Kazinet settled into its familiar nighttime hush. In one of the few houses near the tracks, though, there was a lot of noise coming from men consuming hard. At least 3 liters of homebrew were being passed around, maybe more. And the names around the table were already familiar. There was the local foreman and his brother, there was also Vasily and his brother Yuri, and the visiting police lieutenant Nikolai. They weren't celebrating or mourning anything, they were just bored, and boredom in Kazinet can be a dangerous thing. As the drinks flowed and the evening wore on, they eventually ran out, but that didn't have to mean their night was over. They still wanted more, but the only thing that could be considered a store in town was long closed, so they did what Kazinet men sometimes did when desperate. They went to the train station in search of yashes, which is slang for train cargo handlers who sometimes carry stash for barter or bribes. That night, however, there were no yashes to be found. There were just 7 boys, all strangers to the men, standing near the rails waiting for a train. They would claim that the boys were trying to short-circuit the rails using a piece of wire to trip the signal and stop the next train so they could hop aboard, but that story never held water. There was no wire or proof, and the boys had come prepared to leave on the 10:39 p.m. electric train. They knew the schedule by heart and had no reason to interfere with the tracks, but the men latched onto the excuse anyway. They needed any sort of justification, no matter how thin. A confrontation then erupted, voices rose, and then the attack began. According to the confessions, everything started with a police lieutenant. He was strong, muscular, armed, and filled with a sense of authority, and he didn't hesitate. When one of the 7 supposedly mouthed off to him, maybe trying to stand up for his friends or trying to defuse the situation, Nikolai hit him in the head with the butt of his firearm. This was apparently instantly fatal, causing the others to freeze. And for a split second afterward, the boys didn't believe what had just happened. Nikolai then shouted to the other men to finish them off and leave no witnesses. What followed was chaos. Any tools within reach were grabbed, and the men descended like animals. Some of the 7 tried to run, and one of them likely could have escaped, but Nikolai still had his firearm. He then commanded them to stop or he'd use it. Those who were yet to be attacked then froze again, and the men continued until they were all lying in the dirt beside the rails. Afterward, Nikolai, a supposed protector of law and order, directed the others again, this time to stage the scene. A train was due to pass soon, so they moved the 7 carefully and deliberately across the tracks. Then they lined up their backpacks a few hundred feet away to help sell the story that these were just tired and foolish boys who lay down to rest. Then when the grisly task was complete, the men scattered. Later, the 1:40 a.m. train would come through Cazinet, obliterating the remains. By the time the Supernenko brothers stepped off their freight train and walked the track with their lanterns in hand, the men were long gone and the boys were well beyond saving. And with that, the truth, as ugly and deplorable as it was, had finally been revealed. By the time the case reached court, the entire country was watching. And despite the court convening in 1995, nearly 6 years after the initial discovery, the courtroom was packed with parents of victims, reporters, locals, and just people who had followed the case. For more than 7 months afterward, the trial dragged on through proceedings. And then, finally, when the judge read and delivered the verdict, it was so lengthy that it took over an hour. Nikolai, who led the attack, was sentenced to capital punishment, as was the foreman and brothers Vasily and Yuri. Finally, it seemed, justice had been served. This seemed like a rare moment of accountability in a system where things could often be volatile, but just as the men began to wait in their cells, the country took a political pivot. In a move aimed at joining the Council of Europe, Russia began aligning its laws with the European human rights standards, including the abolition of capital punishment. On May 31st, 1996, the first deputy chairman of the Supreme Court of Russia filed a protest. In it, he asked to overturn the verdict of the court and transfer the case for a new investigation. The Supreme Court then agreed, and just like that, everything unraveled. Not only were the sentences tossed out, but due to the convoluted legal mess and procedural timelines, the previously convicted men were released just like that. And they weren't retried or held in custody, they were just set free. And if you can believe it, things got even darker from there. After his release, Vasily attacked a cousin of his who, according to some, had known everything and wasn't planning to keep his mouth shut during the reopened investigation. Meanwhile, Yuri, who was one of the brothers who was convicted, was also found dead by either suffocation or sudden pneumonia, depending on which report you believe. Then came the most chilling incident of all. A railroad worker who was one of the key witnesses who had helped remove the seven from the tracks was also found under the wheels of a train at Cazinet, allegedly as the result of slipping and falling on the tracks. So as horrific as the initial incident was, somehow it hadn't just ended in 1989. It seemed to have just changed direction, but admirably through it all, the families who had been betrayed and beaten down by bureaucracy kept fighting. By the late 1990s, the story of the Cazinet 7 had faded from the headlines. Other scandals had taken their place, and there were more than enough of those. The country, by then, was cracking under the weight of corruption, war, and transition, and most people assumed the case was dead, but the parents of the victims were relentless. In February 1997, they managed to push hard enough for the Prosecutor General's office to reopen the case once more, this time under the legal banner of, quote, circumstances not fully investigated. It would take 4 more years, 3 additional exhumations, 5 expert forensic reviews, and more than 100 witnesses. There were testimonies not previously considered, forensics experts re-examining these same broken bones, and mountains of old paperwork that were hauled back out under the light of government offices. And through it all, one name that kept coming out during those years was that of Nikolai. Since his release, he had become a municipal deputy. You heard that right, one of the central figures in the murder of the 7 had parlayed his time out of prison into a political seat. But in the fall of 2001, something miraculous happened. The Supreme Court of the Republic of Khakassia issued a new verdict, and Nikolai, the foreman, and Vasily were once again found guilty of the murders. This time, the sentences were final, but to many, they still didn't come close enough to fit in the crime. Nikolai and the foreman were sentenced to just 10 years in a maximum security penal colony, while Vasily got just 7 years. For the parents, again, it wasn't justice. And even then, Nikolai, true to form, never stopped filing appeals. The man who ordered the entire incident still claimed that he was the real victim, and the family simply endured it all. Despite the loss, lies, retrials, and political maneuvering, the truth finally came out and it stuck. Not because the system worked, but because the parents refused to let it stay buried. And in the end, they forced the world to look at what really happened on that cold August night in 1989. Cazinet was never and will never be the same as it was before the murder of the 7. The town, for all its supposed concern and regret over the case, always knew something, and its silence was complicity. What happened there is now more than just an unspeakable crime. It's a cautionary tale about the failure of justice and about what happens when the people in power believe they can get away with anything. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I also want to say thanks for all the incredible story suggestions that you've all sent in. There are so many fascinating stories that have now been covered on the channel that I never would have heard of if it weren't for all of you. Also, as a quick note, as the channel has grown, as you might imagine, it's gotten harder and harder to respond to all the messages across platforms. I actually tried for a long time to respond to everything, but it just became too difficult to keep track of everyone, so I'm sorry if you sent something in and didn't get a response. With that said though, the current best way to submit a story is through the story suggestion form in the description, and if you have any other general questions, sending me an email is the best way to get in contact. But anyways, thanks again, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.